Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to SimPlay Motorsport here for season number 11, week 3 of the Pro-Am GT3 series. I'm your host, Mathew Duffin, being joined in the commentary box once again by my partner in crime for this season, Mr. Wellington Jimenez, aka Beefy Beef. Good evening to yourself. Hope you're doing very well this fine evening. SPA-Francorchamps,
Yeah.
and it is a hot one.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be very, very interesting. I can't remember. I think it was season 9 we came here. It was night and pretty cold. Um, so of course some of the setups will still work. They just gotta, or the drivers just have to go in and change the pressures a little bit. But it will be really, really interesting to see. I would say the different types of setups, because as we know, the increased temperatures are going to have way more, I guess, slidiness to the car. So we're going to see who's running those higher downforce cars or those more top speed type of cars throughout the 90 minutes that we have.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see, like we said, with that 90 minutes, which means the double mandatory pit stops coming your way for this race. And if the drivers think it's a scorcher out on track right now, well, my studio, the office that we are in, at the minute is 1 degree warmer than the track temperature. So it is a warm one. In the UK, we sadly don't have the AC that my fellow colleague will have in his studio. We are stuck with just a basic fan that's blowing hot air around everywhere. But it's great to be here. This tonight, Wellington, is really going to be an interesting test on these tyres for the drivers. Not only is Spa just going to use that bit extra grip compared to other circuits we've seen or will see on the calendar, but it's so hot that it's just going to go through it even quicker. What would the strategy be tonight on this two-stop?
I would say to maybe take tires on the second stop in case you find yourself in a battle late on in the race. You're going to have a little bit extra grip. It might be a very, very close call to not take tires. I think maybe if you're careful enough in like a Lamborghini or a Bentley, you could maybe pull it off. But otherwise, I think it's just good to take tires the second stop. You could take them in the first stop, but they're going to be just about melted by the end of the race.
Yeah, they are indeed. It's really going to be an interesting race to keep our eyes on what the strategy will be. What, 30 cars out there on the circuit tonight, which is great to see. And the grid's quite a jumble at the moment, isn't it, Wellington? We've got the bronze driver of Alcapara quickest, Dewson's fourth. 3 more bronze drivers sat inside that top 10. So we've got a real jumbled up grid at the moment.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when qualifying swings around in a few more minutes. But if I had to guess, I think that some of the silver drivers aren't focusing too much on their qualifying pace, but instead more of the race pace, seeing what their pressures are going to be at when running full fuel, and maybe some slightly different lines from qualifying. And I think the bronze drivers are going for more quality pace. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see again once we get into quali and really see the true pace of some of these drivers.
It'll be interesting. Good evening to everybody in the chat. Gary Clawell, Wainwright, Hulk in there as well as Jose as well. So great. Good evening to you all. Great to see you in the chat at the moment. Hopefully we'll get a few more faces in the comments in just a few moments' time. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting night at Spa for sure. The championship standings then, remember the drop scores will appear on the tables after this week. So the championship standings are as follows. In the Silver Championship, it is 266 points for your man on screen at the moment, Wolski, who leads the way. From Sam Greaves in second, he's on 226. Popovic is third on 208. From Keenan Stardog on 198. Steve Millington on 185. With Alistair Cummins 176, Michael Johnson 167, Brian Craig 155, Cherry Moore and Mirko Ritchie round out your top 10. P11 then is Gluhack with Peckman in 12th, Andrew Taylor down in 13th. We've then got that of Gabino from Bettison, Sturrock, Flores, Clarbel, Hunt, Argent, Dronelander, De Block and Waste. In the bronze category, it is Alcapara, the man who leads the way in this session at the moment, who is top of the leaderboard by a point from that of Coates. Simcoe is P3 from Stapley in fourth. Sanchez is P5 from Jamie Lee. Kruppeljan P7 from Privet. Malarex, White, Tucker, Broom, Dog. Taylor, that's Mick Taylor. Petrovic, Dewson, Atherton, Stanek, Smith, Hughes and Bardi. Hughes and Bardi, by the way, new drivers for this week, so great to see 2 new faces out there. And in the Teams Championship, it is Greasy Bandits Racing that lead by 120 points from the BSH Spinners. Then it is the Hulkanios Motorsport team from SimPlay Racing. Black and Blue Racing a P5 with Vanguard Race Team P6. Team Merlot a 7th from 4Q in 8th. Team GBR in 9th. FRO Racing Team 10th. KSR in 11th from ACC Maniacs, ACC Venom Racing and Forever Forward Racing. So that then is your point standings at the moment. Matthew Hughes, good day to you as well, buddy, in the chat. Paul Williams, good evening to you, sir, as well. Hope you're all doing very, very well this evening. We can head over to the race circuit now, which it looks like it could be an interesting day of racing. It looks like it could be an interesting day of racing, as we've already said. But Wellington, the question is going to be all about that one qualifying. Obviously, it's a chance for drivers to really mix up the grid. What session would you rather be out in? Would you rather be in that first 10 minutes of the bronze or the second 10 minutes of the silver? Because the track's only going to get hotter today.
I would say the second, because I feel like the track will have a little bit more grip, because there is a lot more bronze drivers than what we've seen in the past, so they're going to rubber up the track far more. So at least for me, on a slightly slicker surface, I'd rather be in the second session.
Second session it is. And Wainwright, sorry, apologies for that. I have sorted that. I'd left the pad unmuted, which was picking up my voice from the console stream itself. So the second pack for yourself, yeah, I think I'd rather be in that second pack as well. But qualifying is going to be key here. Obviously, we've only got, and for the folks at home who might be new to watching, that is the session of the 90-minute races. You only have 10 minutes each. It's a 2-minute 18 lap. For Al Capara, you've not got a lot of time here to make invalid lap times. You've got to really be on the ball from the word go.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see the same thing tomorrow night in Pro, that every single lap counts. So one invalid lap, you still have to haul another 2 minutes to get back to the line to reset and to go again and again try and see if you can get at least one lap on the board. But then again, I don't think the qualifying means too much, as it is Spa and we start by going up a Rouge and Radion, and as we've seen in the past, that is a center for chaos. But I think as long as some of the drivers can make it through, even those that maybe didn't have a good qualifying session can still find themselves somewhere in the middle or in the front of the race.
Yeah, so let's see what happens then, as we're currently watching Andrew Taylor just starting one final flying lap, currently 3.8 seconds off the pace. Got to find some more out of this McLaren at the moment here. Hot, tricky day for all these drivers, and like we said, it's only going to get warmer. Track temperature is now at 36. It's now as warm on track as it is in the studio here at SimPlay HQ. But yeah, what a day this could be of racing. This could be an interesting one. Spa as well, like you said. I saw something in the Discord the other day from the Season 9 Pro-Am race of... I think it was Benny Varga took a screenshot of what had happened at Season 9 at the top of El Rouge and Radion. We all know how difficult it can be, as we have actually lost the pole sitter of Al Capara. So hopefully he can get himself back in, but that puts Bettis in now, your lead driver. But yeah, El Rouge and Radion going to be really, really tricky to get right, and they're going to be incredibly huge if you are starting towards that back of the pack in terms of being cautious and making sure that you're aware if something has happened further up the hill.
Yeah, I know that some of the LFM Pro races here have had some huge crashes, but again, if you could maybe stay at the back and tiptoe yourself around, you might be able to get away with little to no damage. So again, it'll be interesting to see how these Pro-Am drivers kind of pace themselves as they go up the hill. Really see who's going to send it, who's just going to take it nice and cautious.
Excuse me, well, qualifying is underway for the bronze drivers. The 105 of Rob Smith back out on track since sorting his wheel issues out. He is out on the circuit at the moment, the first man to take us through a lap. Hopefully Alcapara can get himself back in, because he'll fancy himself in this session to take that bronze pole position, and maybe even the overall pole position. So this at the moment is eating into Alcapara's time of losing a bit of time in that qualifying session at the moment.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Do you know? Oh, he has rejoined. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can get everything up to go. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's kind of a one lap and done situation for him. We saw that he had quite a decent pace at Valencia, and again, just in the practice session, he had a 18.8. So maybe he has a little more quality pace. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to see indeed of what the pace will be. We'll see if Alcapara does get himself back in the session. We're up to 31 drivers, and I am seeing him now in P14 in the minute. He's just come out the pit lane. So we'll go back to Rob Smith. He's the first man who's going to start the first of the flying laps. Good afternoon to Cherry Moore as well as RL Fox. Good luck all, here to watch the chaos unfold and see what we have to look forward to next Tuesday. No, that's Ryan Fox from the LMU series. Might be a little bit different next Tuesday. Should I spoil what I've told you earlier, Beef, or should we keep that for ourselves?
No, just keep it a surprise.
Keep it a surprise. Keep it a surprise.
Also, so I could cry myself to sleep, because
we've got a week. Anything might change.
I am not set for that.
We've got a week. Anything might change between now and then. Good evening to Peaceful Stepdad. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Great to see you back in the chat. Obviously, one of the longest viewers of SimPlay Motorsport, Peaceful Stepdad there with Fury's granddad as well. Two of the longest viewers in the chat. Been here since day one, pretty much, in the audience. So great to see you back for another night of action in this one. Rob Smith starts his first qualifying run here, and he comes through La Source, heading down the second stretch of Spa towards that now of El Rouge and Radion. The left, right, left, coming uphill. Does he take it flat? That's going to be the biggest question. Through El Rouge, over the crest of Radion he goes now. You've just got this little kink coming up on the right-hand side. You're then going to hold that car to the left all the way down the Camel straight before you want to pick your braking point for the Lacombe chicane. Brake nice and hard just before the curb. Get it turned in. The Nissan should ride the curbs well. Must say, the last time we had a Nissan on the grid at Spa, it won the sprint reverse grid race in the hands of Mathew Wright. Yes, Mathew Wright won an outright. Mathew Wright won an outright race. God, that wasn't easy to say. So he can do it. He is capable. We know he's Captain Sandbags as Rob Smith comes into no name. Just on the curb, little twitchy on the as the car bounced off the curb a little bit there. Good evening to Bert as well. Down now in towards Pouon. Drop down a couple of gears. Just patient on that throttle before applying it to the floor and keeping it pinned. Still going through Pouon. On that right-hand side curb, get it coming across to the left. I feel like Rob could have just come over a little bit more there. In towards the Piff Path chicane they go. And now as you come towards Stavolo for the first time, Captain Sandbagger righty Damien Hibbs knows exactly what we're talking about in the chat. Through Stavolo goes Rob Smith now. It's been a tidy opening lap from Rob Smith this. Few little wiggles every now and again as the car seems to come off the curbs, but on his way down towards Blanchimont here, it's been a tidy little lap so far, Wellington.
Yeah, I've been watching his lap, and then I saw that Crupplejan spun at the top of Eau Rouge, so he's now back on an out lap. But Rob Smith a little wide through the exit of Blanchimont, so I think I just caught a glimpse of it. But I think that was an invalid lap from him.
Well, let's see as he comes towards the line. Car 57 of Coates, his teammate, will be the next person to set a time, and it was invalid from Rob Smith. We then have the 45 after this of Coates. Who will he go provisional pole? Yes, he will with the 220.9. Matt writes in the chat, and Hib says, oh no, he's here. Ryan Fox, can't lie, I've just googled the weather for Tuesday with a sick emoji. There, it's lovely weather for Tuesday evening. Where else would you rather be on your Tuesday night? Let's try and find the 888 in bronze at the moment then. Here comes Neil Broom. Works his way up the standings. Goes into second place at this moment in time. Crupplejan towards the line. He's on an outlap because you said he reset his lap time by going back to the pits. Petrovic now. And look already, by the way, Wellington, we're halfway through their qualifying session. So this is what I mean about you've got to get a move on with it in this qualifying.
Yeah, it'll be really, really interesting with the pros. I think that everybody's going to be in kind of a conglomerate, and I think we'll see it with the silvers. I think they're all going to come out just as one huge group, space each other or space themselves out, and then just go. But again, one invalid lap like what happened for Crupplejan and for Rob Smith, that's going to be quite a big weight to carry, and you're going to have that weird kind of stress like, okay, I just need one lap, any lap will do. So yeah. I think we're going to see a couple of safe lap times, maybe in the 20, maybe in the 21 range, just so that way they can at least say that they got a lap out on the board.
Well, here comes one of the new drivers, Bardi, in the chat, in the Lamborghini, coming down towards the timing tower, crosses the line and goes up into P4, so a good start to life at SimPlay. Here comes Simco, a man who's really been on form as of late at SimPlay Motorsport. Really, has changed the way he's approached the racing. And it's now back to Rob Smith on his next valid lap. It is that of Duffin, who has lost all his points, by the way. He's had a change of car. He's gone to the Mercedes-Benz with a change of car. So that is all the points for Duffin. Lost already in this season, so he's already on the back foot in this one if he wants to try and take anything from it. But so far, the qualifying session, if you look at that, I think we're going to see the closer lap time start to come in within this next 3 minutes.
Yeah, I would say once the tires are up to pressure, but with how hot it is, they should be up to pressure as soon as they get out of the pit lane. But I think once they settle down, all their tire pressures are kind of where they want them to be, then yeah, the lap times will get way, way closer. And now that they have had a little bit more time in these conditions, I can expect, again, them and the lap times to be way closer.
Just seeing Mike Matthews in the chat saying that Duffin should be on a qualifying ban. So he's currently provisional pole while carrying a qualifying ban over his head. So that will disqualify him, I do believe, from the qualifying session. Popovic also, as well as Richard Bettison, on a qualifying ban. So yeah, Duffin there, just looked in the Discord, should be on a qualifying ban here as Petrovic moves up in to second place. The 91 next to the line, that is Sanchez. So Duffin's already going to lose his pole position here. So no points for changing his cars. And what the 1 point he could have got is now not going to count because he shouldn't be out there qualifying.
Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, but I think that there's enough notifications that go out to let you know that you have a qualifying ban or other types of penalties. But yeah, it'll be interesting, I guess, to what the stewards are going to do as for next week. Yeah. But, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. He'll probably be looking at carrying his qualifying ban over to Silverstone next week. So we'll see what happens there. The 56 coming round to finish its last run. Simcoe moves back up into P5. The 57 of Coates is on an invalid lap. Is he going to get to the end from there? Remember, if drivers cross the line just on that 10-minute mark, they can finish their lap that they are on. I have no doubt that the silver drivers will be starting to line up at the edge of the pit lane. And Coates here has got 57 seconds to start one more flying lap. He's currently a second off the pace of Duffin. Alcapara's only P2 at the moment, 3/10 off the back of Duffin as well. So far, it is pretty spread out in this bronze category. Maybe it's going to all tighten up when the silvers get out. It's 39 degrees track temperature now as well. It's 36.5 in the studio as Coates does cross the line with plenty of time. Here comes the 45 of Stapley. He will also get one more lap in. So quite fortunate there for Stapley. What about Chris Privet? Can he get another lap in? Neil Broom is just behind him. So Privet and Broom, they also might get one more run in here. Stapley has done. There goes Privet, improves. Broom doesn't. Crupplejan, has he got enough for one more lap? Yes, he has. And moves up into P5. The next car will be Petrovic. And I don't think, no, he's not. He's not going to get a lap in. So Petrovic will be done for qualifying here then. As the silvers make their way out onto the circuit. Here comes Petrovic towards the line on his final run and doesn't improve. The next car is the 91 of Sanchez. Any bronze drivers not done a lap time yet? Yeah, Mark Tucker didn't. Stanek didn't get a lap time on the board. Neither did Jamie Lee. Jamie Lee's still out there, but has that blue dot, so it might be invalidated. But here comes then that of Sanchez towards the line for him. Is there any improvement? Yes, only up into P10 though, just ahead of Hughes. Here comes Mick Taylor towards the line. Has he got anything left in the tank? No, he doesn't. Al Capara towards the line for himself. Does he take that provisional pole? Yes, he does, by half a second there then. Jamie Lee next up on a lap before the Lamborghini of Bardi. Does Jamie Lee get a lap time on the board? Can Bardi find any more momentum? Jamie Lee goes into 16th. Bardi moves up into 6th place. And Simcoe was invalidated. Just Neil Broom out there at the moment. And Mirko Ricci, who if he does start to close in on Neil Broom, has got to be careful here, purely because he does not want to get involved with Neil Broom's lap time.
Yeah, I feel like he has a decent gap from what I could see, but I think he's gonna give Broom just a little bit of extra space to line up his lap, and he has no threat from any other silver drivers. So yeah, it'll be kind of interesting to see how he plays it. But if I were him, I would just let off and build a gap to him, because if you're going to be that close on outlap, kind of have no idea why you're doing that.
Well, let's see what happens for this of Neil Broom. He's 2.1 off the pace at the moment. Mike Matthews is saying that he's only 0.2 faster than Doosan right now in the testing he's done. So here goes Neil Broom. Is he about to take any more places in this qualifying session? To the line, no improvement for him. So we turn our attention then to that of Mirko Ricci. And the pole position point will go to Al Capara in this qualifying session. So Al Capara takes yet another point in his championship reign and another pole position to his name as well on the driver stats. Right then, Silver, who are you backing for pole in this one? Because it could be anybody's game here.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not confident in putting my money on anybody, but I would say Wolski. He looked really, really good in the practice session. So I think I'll put my money on him.
Excuse me. Well, let's hope and see what Wolski can do. Bettison is in the pits. Is Petrovic in the lobby tonight? Can't see him. So at the moment, Petrovic isn't here to serve that quali ban. And Bettison is in the pit serving his now. So he will free up his qualifying ban going into that of Silverstone next week. Let's see what happens at the moment in this qualifying session. Currently on board with Mirko Ricci, who, like you said, has got a pretty comfortable margin at the moment, hasn't he, over the other cars around him. I feel like we're still yet to see the best of Mirko. Yes, he had a good dominant race 2 win last week at Valencia, but he seems to have been caught up in dramas and hit and miss in other races and qualifying sessions.
Yeah, I think once he could shake that, I feel like we could maybe see the best of him, maybe see him promoted into the gold category at the end of the season, or maybe fight for the championship. Again, as long as he could keep it as clean as he possibly can, I think we'll definitely see a form of him that we haven't seen in seasons past.
Well, let's see what he can do here then. The first lap about to be completed by Mirko Ricci, and there's only 5 and a bit minutes left in this qualifying session, so this is going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on indeed. Bardi as well is still out there in qualifying, I'm just noticing, so Bardi still out in that silver qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he doesn't improve, I don't see any issue that may come up, but I think the stewards might just give him a warning for qualifying. But if he does improve, then I could see him maybe getting a qualifying ban. But again, that's up in the air for the stewards to take care of at the end of tonight.
Here comes Gabino to the line as some of the silver drivers, or more of the silver drivers now, started to put lap times on the board. Wolski has gone within half a second now of Al Capara. Here comes Sam Greaves, who shoots up the order into P5, just behind Mirko Ricci. We've got the 18 of Flores next to the line, before the 86 of... in fact, that is the 86 of that of Bardi. So we'll just keep our eyes on that lap time to see if he does improve any at all. Now, new for this week is Bardi, so, I mean, still, you've got to cast your eyes over the rules and regulations, and you've got to also wonder why all the red numbers are in the pit lane and all the silver numbers are now out on circuit. Well, he does improve. He improved by 0.4 of a second, so, yeah, that's not going to go down well with the stewards, I feel.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a qualifying ban for next week at Silverstone, which might be more of a grace than it is a penalty, because
Stanek as well is
Silverstone, as we know, also has a chaotic turn 1, so maybe, you know, starting at the back, waiting for everybody to take each other out, that might be more of a benefit more than a detriment.
Well, Stanek is also out there when he's not meant to be as well, so, yeah, a couple of drivers here just in a spot of bother, as they'll probably take a trip to the stewards. And the problem for Stanek is he's not set a lap time in that bronze qualifying. So now we'll need to obviously do a lap time. In fact, is Stanek bronze? He is, yeah, he is bronze, yeah. So because he's not set a lap in that bronze qualifying, he's now going to set one now. So it's going to automatically be an improvement as the track moves now, ticks over to 40 degrees track temperature. Here comes Mirko Ricci towards the line. Was it any improvement? It was, up to P2, only for a brief moment, as then Wolski goes back into P2. What can Stardog do just behind the pack here? Does he improve? Yes, he does, up into 6th. Brian Craig moves up into P7. The 186 further down the field will pick up Peckman, who's coming to the line. He also hasn't set a lap time yet. Hunt as well hasn't done a lap time. Gluak has just put a lap time on the board, and he finds himself up in P number 12 for the time being. Here comes Sam Greaves, finds an improvement but only stays P5. Next we have the 18 of Diego Flores. What can Flores do here in this race at the moment?
Still no lap for Peckman, Hunt, or Bettison, but I think he's on a qualifying ban.
Bettison's is on the qualifying ban, yeah.
Alright, so yeah, no lap for Hunt, Johnson, or Peckman yet. And I think this might be the final shot that they have. I know Johnson's in the pits. Hunt is just now going to the Lake Home chicane, with Peckman only a couple of car lengths in front of him. So again, they only have 2 minutes to loop the rest of this track, so it'll be close to see if they do get that extra lap. But otherwise, they might be starting from the back of the grid.
Well, Bardi's just come into the pit lane. Stanek's still out on a lap. He's the next man to finish his next run. And looks like he's probably going to put a valid lap time in here. So this will put him ahead of Tucker and ahead of potentially a couple of others. And yes, it does look ahead of Privet, Taylor, Lee and Tucker. So, yeah, not what he'd have wanted in this one. Let's wait and see what happens as he goes into the wall. This that'll be his qualifying done. Trying to find the 741 of Stardog. He's the next man on a valid lap time. And some of these drivers might get one more last lap in.
Yeah, it'll be really, really close. If I think Richie will, but I think the last car to get one is maybe Craig. No, that's a little more of a stretch. Maybe Peckman.
Possibly the 311 of Peckman, potentially. So here comes Stardog. The 186 of Cherry Moore just behind him is also on a valid lap, so we'll keep our eyes on Cherry Moore as well. Stardog to the line, no improvement for him. What does Cherry Moore do? Does he improve? Yes, he does. Moves himself up into P4. Peckman, who hasn't got a lap time on the board, can he get one in now? Yes, he can. Hunt also gets a lap time on the board, and qualifying continues on here. Andrew Taylor has just moved up into 19th place. The 96 of Sam Greaves. What does he do? He bails on his final run. So he is done for qualifying, is Sam Greaves. Here comes Diego Flores then. Can Diego Flores, who might also just creep one more lap in here?
Yeah, again, it's going to be really, really close with 3 seconds left. He's gonna get one more. So I guess this is kind of the now or never laps for all the drivers. Just again throw everything in the kitchen sink at this lap. Wolski only 4/10ths out from Alcapar's lap of a 18.9, and Richie about 4.25 tenths out. And I guess the last one that can maybe beat that time from Alcapar is Cherry Moore, who's about a tenth or a half a second out. Read that wrong.
Well,
But everybody else, unless they absolutely chuck the car, I don't think that there's going to be any other driver that could potentially get that overall pole.
Well, here comes Mirko Ricci through Stavolo. Towards Blanchimont he comes now. Is this going to be an improvement? Only needs 4/10 of a second for the outright pole position. Wolski is on an invalid lap, it's saying on my screen below me. He's got the light blue dot on his number. That means he's invalidated his lap time. Mirko Ricci through Blanchimont he comes towards the bus stop chicane for the final time in qualifying. And is this going to be Mirko Ricci to possibly snap pole position in the silver category? Can he get pole position altogether? A little wide out the final chicane. Here comes Mirko to the line, and it is pole in the silver category. Wolski is into the pit lane. So Mirko Ricci right at the death takes pole position. What can Stardog do? Here he comes now. Cherry Moore got the chicane all wrong and opted over it. Stardog stays P8. Does Cherry Moore improve? No, he does not. He stays P4. Peckman down in 22nd. Has he got an improvement in him? Yes, he has, up into P20. The 985 next of Gluhak to the line.
Really, really solid lap from Richie. It looked like Cherry Moore had a really, really good lap on for it, but again, just sent it too hard into that bus stop chicane.
Yeah, indeed he did, and it's going to be an interesting one to see what Cherry Moore can do in the race, because he's in a good position there. P4 on the grid as Flores moves up to 15th place. So yet another pole position for a Mercedes-Benz, but it's a bronze driver, outright pole. You don't see that too often.
Yeah, as we know, the Mercedes, even with the LFM BOP, is pretty dreadful ever since Kunos rebuilt it. But there's a couple of times where it could actually be pretty decent. I think it's in qualifying here at Spa, as it's won the Spa 24 many, many a times in the SRO Esports, as well as is really, really good at the Nürburgring GP.
Yes, indeed. So we'll keep our eyes on what is happening in this qualifying session, in this race that is about to commence. Full formation lap, remember, here. So the drivers will have to do the full lap of Spa in this one before we get this this race underway. Give me then a silver and a bronze prediction for the race win.
Silver, it might be beating a dead horse, but I'm going to go with Richie. Again, he's looked really, really good these last two qualifying sessions, both this week and in Valencia last week. But as long as he could keep a cool head and not go for any egregious moves on Alcapara, since, again, they're in two different classes, I think he could definitely be in contention for this win. And then for bronze, we saw how good Alcapar was in Valencia last week, and I think he has really, really good form here at Spa this week. So again, I'm going to go with Alcapar and Richie.
I think I'm with you on that one. I think Alcapar has got the pace in this race to do the job. Jamal Cloud and Bradley talks same livery colours as mine, copyright, with a laughing emoji. I think that's for Cherry Moore. Mike Matthews, wish I could race where I am now tomorrow in the garden. I'm scared of my loft. Damien Hibbs says, yep, I don't envy you being in a loft racing. It's not enough in my room. Good luck to you. Clouden look like they look sweet, though. Maybe you can claim royalties or something from them. Class, good evening to you, buddy. In time for the race. Let's see what happens here. And yeah, this is going to be an interesting start to race. Are we expecting carnage up El Rouge and Radion on that one?
Oh, of course. I mean, I feel like it's kind of a given, whether it's an open lobby or a league race, there's always going to be carnage in turn one. Really, it doesn't matter the track unless it's a wide sweeping corner, which I don't, off the top of my head, I don't think we have one in ACC. The closest is maybe the Red Bull Ring, but otherwise, it's always going to be chaotic. Turn one, lap one, just trying to get as many positions as you can. But yeah, I mean, that's Spa. Everybody knows to take it as carefully as you can,
Um, I,
but
I,
just how careful can you take it?
I forgot to mention, we are going to be right back actually, because we're in for a 10-minute break, and I forgot to mention that. That's due to the fact that we don't have a free practice too. So we'll be right back in a few moments' time with the start of Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to SPA-Francorchamps. We've had our hydration break and we're ready to go. The drivers get 2 hydration breaks. So it's not 2 mandatory pit stops, it's 2 hydration breaks. They can take them whenever they want. That's what the 2 stands for this week, especially for the drivers in the UK, seeing as we're not used to 36, nearly 40 degrees temperatures and stuff like that. These are the only hydration breaks as well, Beef, that you need to be watching. There's no other hydration breaks on at the moment that you do need to watch.
Yeah, I mean, you and I were just talking about the World Cup and some of the games. There's like one interesting one, or sorry, matches. There's one decent match. The rest of them are, I don't think that anybody's gonna miss too much if they don't watch those matches. But this is the action that they should be watching right here on SimPlay Motorsport.
Indeed.
90 minutes of Spa.
Look at you, promo admin. We can start calling you in a minute, the way you've done things at the moment. By the way, we are 2 subscribers away from getting to 70. 70 subscribers in 3 weeks. 2 more away. So share it between friends, family, colleagues, people you don't even like, ex-girlfriends, as I know that Beef has shared his out with his ex-partner. Good afternoon if you're watching. Get them on, get them watching, get them subscribed, get them in here. We're 2 away from 70 subscribers in 3 weeks. It's been a mega effort from everybody, all the drivers, all the fans, everybody in the Discord. Beefy especially has shared it around numerous places every single week, every single race. So make sure you get them in. Also, don't forget, while you're there, hit that like button and hit the bell to be notified when we go live. We're back at SPA-Francorchamps for the Pro Series tomorrow night, where me and Tanner could be joined by a guest, previous commentator of Gray Langley, who might be back from working time to jump into the commentary box, he said last night. So we'll see if Gray joins us for that one with me and Tanner. And obviously, we stay at Spa. We're all camping here for the weekend. They've put us up in the infield. We've all got in our tents. The LMU drivers are already on their way here for next Tuesday's race. But bring a brolly. Oh, there we go. By the way, we've just got the extra 2 subscribers. We have hit 70 subscribers in 3 weeks. Thank you very much, guys and girls in the chat. What a mega effort. Without you all, we couldn't do it. So thank you all very, very much. Right then, Beef. They're coming towards Blanchimont. Race, Pro-Am, race 3, or race 4, week 3, is about to get underway. What are we expecting to see in store at the start of this race?
Well, carnage for sure, but I'm just hoping that some of the Pro-Am drivers know that you could take a little bit more off the top of Radeon, and you won't get a penalty for it, as some of the LFM pros figure that out. I only took them 11 seasons. But yeah, it'll be interesting again to see just how much chaos there's going to be. Of course, there will be a sprinkle, but just, again, how much is there going to be? Yeah, that's going to be the biggest question on everybody's faces at the moment. I've just had a second beverage delivered. It's a hot one tonight in the commentary box. And it's a hot one out there. Through the final corner, they come for the formation lap. And we are, in fact, no, we're nowhere near about to go racing because the race starts at the bottom of Eau Rouge. I always forget that when we come to ACC. I'm going to have to leave you a little note on Discord saying this is where we start.
Yeah. This one this
week. How many
this
seasons has it been?
This is season 11 of ACC, so 11 seasons of this. Flint in the chat saying good luck. Sergio saying go Hulkanios in the chat. That is Al Capara and Sanchez. Apologies if I'm saying that team name wrong as well. But we are about to get underway for the start of week number 3. 90 minutes of Spa here in the heart of the Ardennes Forest in Belgium. Bronze versus silver on the front row. 32 cars versus Eau Rouge and Radeon on lap 1. And it's green and go. Mirko Ricci's got an absolute demon start out front and already pulled away. Nice and cleanly up the hill they'll go. And in the midfield, BMW round. Someone's already
Petrovic.
off, but he's well out the way, is Petrovic, in this qualifying session. And believe it or not, we are through cleanly, bar the few stragglers towards the back. we are through pretty cleanly at the start of this race.
Yep, just Privet and Petrovic. I saw that Petrovic got his left quarter panel tagged by Barty, so I don't know if that's what sent him around, as I only caught just a small glimpse of it, but not as chaotic as I thought it was going to be.
And to be fair, he's not gone into the wall as well. His car looks pretty good. Privet's car, on the other hand, just waiting to see this. Again, looks okay. There is a yellow flag, though, coming through the Lecombe chicane. It's Privet's teammate, Neil Broom, who's gone around just after Lecombe. So Neil Broom there, he's gone around himself, we believe, or we're not too sure. But, yeah, either way, Mirko Ricci with a great start here, and he's out front from Alcapara. Wolski down in P3, Doosan up to 4th, Greaves in 5th, Cherry Moore attacking the back of Sam Greaves. This is the console version of the game, Flint. That's why there's no custom liveries out there. We was a console league before moving to the PCA side of LMU this season. So yeah, we've always been on the consoles, and now Hunt on his first race this season. He's been on holiday. Hunt to the outside of Cherry Moore. Bit of contact between the two. Cherry Moore's around, coming through Stavolo. Hunt lost out to Stardog in that one and might lose out to Gluak as well. Good evening to Alistair Cummins. Here comes Gluak on Hunt himself. And a little tap there from Hunt, who was on the outside. Probably felt he should have been left a bit more space there.
Oh, a little bit of contact between Gluak and Hunt going through Blanchimont. But this is exactly what Richie needed, just to get into the lead and soar off. Now Alcapara is going to be under pressure from Wolski. If he were to let Wolski go, I wouldn't be surprised, as they're not in the same class, at least this week. That could change next week, depending on what Righty thinks. But yeah, really, really solid start from Richie. Again, just to check out, almost like what he did at Valencia, just block off the mirror and just put in the laps.
Yeah. Well, Gabino's had a spin, but like you say, Mirko Ricci, fastest lap, leads by 1.1. Wolski got an almighty run on Alcapara there. He's just got past him, coming down the Camel straight. Pavel Wolski, is it Pavel? No, I don't think it is. Wolski then leads this, his second place now overall. Doosan coming under pressure from Sam Greaves, the silver versus the bronze driver. They've both gone deep at the Lecombe chicane. That could help Stardog just gain on them a little bit. Then there's Hunt and Gluak. Coates currently running third in the bronze series. Remember, if you are new to this series, points are scored for overall, not per class. So it is vital that you fight for every position. You have got Jamie Lee, yellow flag, down on the Camel straight. We've got Hughes in the pit lane. Where is Jamie Lee? Oh, that is a badly broken car, and he's only just, he's lost that up El Rouge because he's only just come through that little kink. That is a broken McLaren right there. Beckman coming under pressure from Andrew Taylor in this race. We've got Sanchez, who has just got past that of Rob Smith in this one as well. Stapley not far off the back. Stapley in the Bentley's had a good start to the season as well. He's been on the podium most races. He'll want to carry on that trend of good form here.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the one bronze driver of Coates, kind of in a world of his own. And I said at Valencia, if he were to get a little more pace at the beginning of the race, I could definitely see him on the podium, maybe for a bronze win. And so far he's doing that, running in 3rd place in bronze and 9th place overall.
Indeed he will, as Rob Smith just goes a little wide on the exit there, on the entry into Stavolo. Stapley right behind him with that then of Tucker and Malarex, and actually Michael Johnson, who's coming from the back after not qualifying. Betterson couldn't qualify due to his qualifying ban, but Stapley just coming under pressure now from that of Tucker behind. There you can see Malarex and the two Lexuses in the black and blue racing team of Betterson and that of Johnson as well. And that was Rob Smith a little deep on the entry into the bus stop chicane. And they all managed to stay as they were for the time being. Petrovic trying to gain onto the back of Stanek. Stop-go penalty for Hughes. He came into the pits at the end of lap 1. He's got a stop-go penalty to his name. What a nightmare debut for Hughes. And Jamie Lee is only just at the entry to Stavolo as Mirko Ricci's about at Lecombe. So Jamie Lee's in for a world of pain with that pit stop. Alcapara has not yet dropped within that second of Wolski, so he's still there trying to claw back on Wolski here. And Stardog trying to get past the lap car of Hughes. And through he goes now. Hunt may fancy a piece of that coming into Lecombe. Nope, backs out of that one quite nicely then. Kruppeljan side by side with Bardi. the other debutant in tonight's race, and Bardi loses out there.
Oh, 3 wide down the Camel Straight between the bronze drivers. Sorry to cut you off,
fine.
Matt. Yeah, 3 wide between Smith, Tucker, Stapley. Johnson is right there, and we know how good he is on those Lexus binders.
Oh,
just
contact!
Off of Bathurst.
Stapley gets taps the rear of Tucker, and into the wall goes Tucker then. Just at the end of that, and now that's put, I believe that's Petrovic trying to get around because Cherry Moore's just got through. Why is oh yeah, Cherry Moore had the off himself, didn't he? So Cherry Moore's just got through, so Stapley's dropped right down the order. See you later, Tibbs. Thanks for tuning in tonight once again. But yeah, there goes Tucker into the wall. Bardi has been overtaken by Corruption. He's got Simcoe just behind him. Further forward though, look, Duffin coming under pressure from Greaves and Stardog now. We didn't see the best of Stardog last week at Valencia. He wants to bounce back here after such a good Bathurst race.
Yeah, he's looking really, really good. Just to be running right there in P6 and what is that, 4th in silver. So not terribly far off the podium as he's right on the back of Sam Greaves. So maybe if he could get a decent run going through Blanchimont, he might be able. No, Greaves keeps the gap just out of dive bomb range. But Stardog closes up a lot. Greaves runs quite wide. Going for the up and under, can't get there. A little bit of a slide, but I feel like Stardog could get Greaves. He looks a little bit better over the course of a lap.
Yeah.
But again, we still have another hour, 22 minutes and 50 seconds to figure out.
Well, just seeing this fight down the order here, that's Hughes staying out the way of the lead traffic going through turn 1, and Krupeljan and Bardi here having an almighty fight with Peckman, Simcoe and Taylor all on the back of them, and they've exchanged places several times. They're almost on the back of that of Diego Flores. Hughes going up El Rouge and Radion now. Through he goes, and Krupeljan, real bit of track limits here. He's had a huge lift. That's going to put Bardi right past him. Simcoe and Peckman are going side by side now. Simcoe in the slipstream of the Ferrari, Peckman in the slipstream of the lapped BMW. Krupeljan fancies a move back here on Bardi. Oh, the lapped car comes across Simcoe, and off in big fashion goes the lead car of Simcoe and the lapped car of Hughes. Off they go at the bottom end of the Camel Straight. And Simcoe now gets back going, but loses out to Peckman, Taylor, Sanchez, Smith, Johnson, Malarex, Betterson, Cherry Moore, Petrovic, Stanek, Stapley, Broom has just got through as well. He'll rejoin, or should rejoin, ahead of Taylor, Privet, Cabino and Tucker, but wow, that was an almighty incident.
Yeah, I just caught the end of it, and I was looking at the battle a little bit further down with Johnson, Malarex, Betterson, and Johnson was just about pushing Rob Smith through Eau Rouge, and it looked like he was going to spin him as they got to the top with just how close they were. But again, I would say that that's a decent battle to look at throughout the race from about 18th to 24th, 25th.
Hughes has just had a spin, by the way, at the hairpin after the Carmen. Was in the middle of the road, and Taylor's just absolutely gone through the side of the car, and Hughes has gone back to the pit lane. That could be some big damage on that BMW, and well, really, with a stop-go penalty and one extra stop to make, that could be the end of his night. This is on board with Johnson at the moment. Here's Stanek trying to get past Petrovic, and oh, what a crazy night. Well, it didn't happen on lap one of El Rouge and Radion, but 10 minutes in, it's all started to kick off here.
Yeah, I thought that everything would have sort of settled down about 10 minutes in, but I think we might need to push that to about 20, 25 minutes in, as who was that? Bedison took quite a healthy track limit going through Blanchimont, just on the entry there.
Noticing that Alcapara is back within 0.4 of a second of that of Wolski, so Alcapara has just started to gain onto the back once again with the fastest lap of the race.
They're going side by side right now.
Who's that? That's the yellow flag. That's the 666 of Duffin, who's had a yellow flag at the top of El Rouge. And side by side goes Alcapara with Wolski on the inside line. Runs a little deep. Alcapara has to get out the throttle there then and can't get the move done. And it's Mathew Hughes. Horrible for me. I'm so sorry, everybody. No worries, dude. Always the next time. I believe Peckman as well. Yeah, yellow flag. Oh, him and Andrew Taylor at the top of El Rouge as well.
Oh.
Andrew Taylor's got some significant damage, and Peckman was sideways. How he's not been collected, I do not know.
Yeah, I might have to check the replay just to see what happened with Peckman. I know in my testing, the McLaren is a little funny going over Eau Rouge. So maybe that's what happened, just lost the rear.
Absolutely crazy at the minute, though, isn't it, so far, Wellington, that this race at the moment is just turning into drivers making their own mistakes that's costing them places. Richie out front. Alcapara was second briefly. Wolski got back ahead at the timing screen through Lecombe as they come through to sector 2 now. Greaves is way behind. He's got Stardog with him for company. Sam Coates is now second in category after Duffin had a moment at Eau Rouge. Coates has got Brian Craig there. Brian Craig's having a brilliant season as well. Bardi on the back of Flores as Duffin has dropped down even more places now. So Bardi, very wide on the exit of Stavolo there. Would have picked up a track limit warning for sure. Malarex close to that of Bettison. He's got Cherry Moore, his teammate, for company. People are on controller on this, yeah, as well as Wheel. Stapley down in 20th. What happened, Beef?
So it looks like Peckman just lost the rear going up Eau Rouge, and as he tried to correct it, spun right into the path of Taylor.
Yeah, so that's a shame for Andrew Taylor. As Gabino here down in 25th. Yellow flags wave once again. The 666. That is Duffin once more, who's had a moment at Blanchimont. He's off on the outside line. Rejoins now. But that's put Duffin down the order. And, well, what an easy move for Gabino, because Stanek has just outbraked himself into the bus stop chicane by a country mile. And Stanek, Gabino there, gets through. He's now on the back of Rob Smith, who's on the back of Neil Broom. And further forward, look, Cherry Moore. Trying to get closer to Betson, who's trying to get closer to Malarex now, although Malarex may have passed him. Coates, side by side with Brian Craig. Coates trying to hang on here. 4P8, looks like he's got that one done at the moment. Yes, he has. Stop-go penalty for Mick Taylor, speeding in the pit lane as well. So Mick Taylor also picks himself up a stop-go penalty in this race. And really, it has been not the night out there, and I'm not sure what has happened, but the YouTube stream has just frozen a moment. Hopefully YouTube's not having one of its mad moments like it did last night. I'm going to try and sort this very quickly.
So Alcapara, again, still on the back of Wolski, but I guess our hidden figure so far is Coates, now running P2 and 9th overall as a bronze driver. He does have the silver driver of Craig right behind him, but Coates, again, looks to be having some extremely good pace recently.
Yeah, he does indeed, and we'll see what he can do with this pace. He's obviously got Brian Craig, who himself has also had some good pace, and is trying to keep that one up. Hopefully now that is got back going for you out there on the stream. Not sure what happened there, but it did freeze momentarily and should be now back with you. Yes, it is. So good to see out there at the moment. I'll keep an eye on it on the Streamlabs side of things. Can I minimise that? No, I can't. Brilliant. But yeah, see what he could do. Alcapara within 4/10 of Wolski now as they come up towards Eau Rouge and Radion here for the 6th time of asking. And if you get a good enough run up through Eau Rouge and Radion, you get an almighty slipstream, almost a slingshot-like slipstream down the Camel Straight. But it looks like Alcapara hasn't gained too much over Wolski in doing so.
Well, all he has to do is keep it within 0.6 of a second, as that is slipstream range
side
on
by side,
ACC.
sorry Wellington, side by side, Hunt and Gluhack. This for 6th and 7th in the overall classifications. It's for 5th and 6th, the stop-go penalty for, that is Mick Taylor, and Hunt up the inside of Gluhack, who just cuts the Lecombe chicane. He surely, he's rejoined right into the path of Hunt there, and Hunt just taps the rear of him. That was a little silly from Gluhack for my liking.
Yeah, he did. Hunt did tap him as they entered, which pushed Gluhack wide. So maybe Gluhack was trying to maybe see if Hunt will give the position back. But I don't know. Just kind of a silly rejoin from Glue Hack, but again, he still has another hour, 15 minutes to get past Hunt, as well as 2 pit stops. So I wouldn't worry about it too much if you have all this time.
Yeah, well, let's see what's going to happen then. This is Bardi, who is gaining on the back of Diego Flores and bringing Cruppeljam with him. Bardi on debut already on the podium in bronze, by the way, so he's having a great debut. Well, ran a little wide there on the exit of Pouon, and that's allowed Cruppeljam to have a look up the inside. No can do there for them two. Further down the order, Bettison trying to look past Petrovic. Jamie Lee's back into the pits. That could be Jamie Lee's 2 stops done in this race. Hughes back out on track. He's got a stop-go to do. Taylor's got a stop-go to do. Simcoe and Peckman have all done 1 stop with Taylor and Hughes as well. And yeah, Matt Wright saying a bit naughty from Glue Hack there, and Hulk saying W cameraman. Not sure what that one means, but yeah. Either way, elaborate on that one. Malarex and Cherry Moore started to come through the field nicely since Cherry Moore's spin. On the back now of Sanchez, giving him a flash of the lights here, and towards Blanchimont they go. The 207. Who's the 207? That is Mick Taylor, who's had a spin coming through Pouon and has got big damage once again. And you have to say, as Malarex here goes for the dive on Sanchez to the outside of the second part of the chicane. It's very slow, and it gets the move done in this the bus stop chicane. So good move from him there. Can Cherry Moore now find a way through, because they've got Petrovic, sorry, they've got, who's the Mercedes-Benz? Just behind that, Duffin, who is he a lap down? Because he's down in 27th, so he must be a lap down, must Duffin be.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Cherry Moore. Johnson is absolutely gone. He's gotten past Malarex, gotten past Sanchez, but 0 threat from Cherry Moore right behind. Johnson's just now entering the Lake-Home chicane right behind Cruppeljam, Barty, and Flores. And Cherry Moore, well, he's just entering as... yeah, Johnson's checked out. He was part of that group, but no longer. He's kind of merged himself with another group.
He's merged himself with a Flores, Bardi, Cruppeljam fight, like you just said. Thank you, Hulk. Get it now. This might have to end up as a retirement for me tonight. No worries, Mathew. That will be a trip to the stewards, but yeah, no problem, buddy. In this one, as Sanchez, in fact, Cherry Moore has now got past Sanchez, so he's got the move done. Petrovic fending off Bettison. Like I say, though, Johnson trying to get onto the back of this fight between Bardi and Cruppeljam here in this race. We have had a retirement from this one, and I believe it is Mick Taylor who has called it a day and has retired the car early door, so another one will be taking a trip to the stewards. Mick Taylor, no points for him in this race.
Yeah, kind of unfortunate. I feel like he could have scored some decent points, especially since it is a 90-minute race and anything can happen. But yeah, just unfortunate for him.
It is indeed, as we've just seen that Sanchez has just lost out to Petrovic, also nearly Bettison and Stapley. So a few little fights happening elsewhere. Here comes Cruppeljam looking up the inside of Bardi. Can't get the move done there. And they all stay out once again. Andrew Taylor was in the pits last lap. He's now gone a lap down as well. He's still in the pit lane. He had that bad damage, remember, so he's probably gone to get that one repaired. Glue Hack on the rear of Hunt once again. So it's round 2. We've got Alcapara trying to be on the rear of Wolski as well. And nothing can be done there. Glue Hack actually lost a bit of time, it looked like, to Hunt, because he's no longer right under the rear wing of that Mercedes-Benz. But Mirko Ricci, 4 seconds out front at the moment, in a world of his own so far.
Yeah, pretty much doing exactly what he did last week at Valencia. Just maybe he's got a little bit of Spotify going, maybe a bit of Michael Bublé. But yeah, he's...
What a guy.
Yeah, he's, again, just on his own little planet, so maybe, again, that Spotify is just working a bit of overtime, and he's just putting in qualifying laps.
Sorry, I believe it wasn't Mick Taylor. Or have we lost 2? No, yeah, Jamie Lee has also had to retire. I saw him put what he's put in the Discord. He put a video in earlier on and it was glitching, and Mike had said that it looks like his frame rate was dropping. And Jamie Leach just had to quit tonight's race. Glitching frame rate So, yeah, it's not gone any better. So, Jamie Lee, also a retirement from tonight's race. Now, we've got the double header of the 90 minutes this time out for here and then at Silverstone. That's going to make it even more interesting to see the next time we get to a reverse grid, what the reverse grid will actually look like.
Yeah, I mean, with how this race would end, if we were just to take it from the end of tonight, I think it'll look very, very similar.
Body's around. That is coming through. Is that Piff Paff? Believe it is. And
yes.
Bardi is around. That's allowed Johnson and Kruppeljan through. Kruppeljan has also got past Flores. Flores trying to re-attack Kruppeljan here. On the run down towards Blanchimont, Kruppeljan has defended the inside line. And Flores going to look right around the outside. This will be an almighty move. Contact! Kruppeljan's around! Flores was off the track, bounces back on. It was never going to work around the outside of Blanchimont. And contact was inevitable there.
Yeah, I just saw the tail end of it, but I feel like either one of them should have maybe thought just to let off. And is that Flores around?
Yeah, he's had another spin through the bus stop chicane, so Kruppeljan's got the move back done. Cherry Moore's also got through, and he's got a lot of damage there as well as Flores. So Malarex may fancy his chances, but yeah, just a day late and $1 short. Alistair Cummins looking forward to Silverstone. Just pray the heat wave is over. You know what? I'd love a little bit of rain for Silverstone next week just to kill off this heat wave. Plus, then we'd get a wet race.
Yeah, and I feel like just any wet race is more entertaining than dry race.
I don't know. This is up there at the moment.
Just who has the biggest pair to send in when it's wet. And I think Flores is, yeah, he's around at the top of Eau Rouge and Radion.
Yeah, he is. He's parked station. He's going to have to be careful. He's returned to the pits. I believe he's just left the server, actually. So that is Flores' retirement as well. It won't let me press on him. And he's tumbling down the order. I think that's a Flores retirement. Yeah, it is. So Flores retired from the race. We're only 23 minutes into this race. That's 3 retirements down.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to really see how many drivers we end up with, especially since Spa bites more than any other track. I feel like that is on the schedule this season. So again, just one misstep, one degree too much of steering angle could really see with a lot of damage and maybe the end of your night if you're that frustrated in yourself.
Yeah, indeed it was. And yeah, just crazy. Such a long race to go as well. Anything can happen. And if you think of the likes of Simcoe, who had that bad damage early on, Peckman, who's also 2 laps down, Doosan and Taylor, who are 2 laps down, all of a sudden, as oh my days, Sanchez going side by side with Petrovic, and Doosan just behind them. Petrovic bailed out of it. Doosan's got a car all in a slide, and around he goes at Blanchimont. And Doosan just not able to do anything tonight. But if you think of these drivers that's made their pit stops at a couple of laps down, they're just being gifted extra points here by the fact that these drivers are just retiring from the race early doors.
Yeah, I guess it really does pay just to stay in the race and again just see what happens, especially at such a chaotic track like Spa. I think we saw the same thing with Bathurst. There were a couple of drivers a lap down, but again, they stood in, got as many points as they could, no quali ban or anything. And I think we might see the same thing for Silverstone with Maggots and Beckett's next week.
Yeah, and Club. Don't forget the Club chicane as well. That could be another interesting one to see what happens around the Club chicane. And yeah, that could be another interesting section of the circuit where there could be several incidents around there. We'll have to wait and see. Mirko Ricciolizzo from this fight in second place between Wolski and Neil Broom's had a disconnection. So hopefully Neil Broom can get back in. Oh, that's why he's in the pit lane. Neil Broom's had a disconnection then. What a shame for Neil Broom. But this is the fight for second place at the moment, and Wolski is holding his own against Alcapara. Alcapara having a great drive in third place so far.
Yeah, so far he's kept it clean. I haven't seen any crazy track limits from him yet. But again, could have some extremely good points as long as he just takes his time and doesn't go for any silly moves that could see him potentially end his night or see him way out of the overall podium fight.
And we've got one of the LMU drivers in, and I've just got to figure out who it is. It's John Ford. John Ford's in with us, who nearly pulled off a masterclass strategy last night, but what a shame it didn't quite come off for him. Any other fights out there at the moment? Cherry Moore actually looking to get past Corupeljan. Corupeljan looks a little slow out of Stavlo there, so did he just maybe dip a wheel in the gravel on the exit of Stavlo? Gluak into the pits, and Cherry Moore, thank you mama for the carrots, through he goes. First one of them of the evening. So Cherry Moore up now into 11th place. We've got Stanek trying to gain on Tucker further down. And
oh, Johnson just spun in the last corner. Yeah. Taylor almost hits him.
What a shame
Smart
for Johnson
for
as well.
Him to reverse.
What a shame, because Johnson was having such a good run. He's now just lost back out to Corupeljan, Cherry Moore, Malarex, and Bettison, and possibly even Sanchez here.
Sanchez, I don't think is going to get him, but again, we know how strong that Johnson is in that Lexus. He's really, really good on the brake, so I expect him to get past Cherry Moore, Corupeljan, and Malarex, and I think his teammate of Bettison as well is in front of him, yes. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, again, if he were to get past them. Maybe we could see one of those Michael Johnson dive bombs.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Not seen one for a few weeks. Not many battles happening out there at the moment. We're just approaching the first third of the race to be done, and yeah, what a good start to the afternoon's proceedings here, or what a chaotic start, should we say, to the afternoon's proceedings here. As Cherry Moore's got Corupeljan still for company. They've got 17 seconds till they can get on the back of Brian Craig at the moment. I can see Silver in Alcapara's eyes. It wouldn't surprise me based off of last week's pace and this week's pace at the moment.
Yeah. Alright. Oh, Malarex looked like he took a huge track limit almost to the wall coming out of No Name.
Where is Malarex?
Just behind Corupeljan in 11th overall.
Oh, he's in the BMW. For some reason I was looking for an Aston Martin. Yes, there he is. With Corupeljan just ahead. Bettison 1.3 behind. Sanchez still within a couple of tenths of Johnson. It's within touching distance. Alcapara just again slowly creeping up to the rear of Wolski. In fact, he's not. He's lost a couple of tenths actually. So that's going to hurt him a little bit there. But while we're at it, and while you're in this stream, go down to the description below and check out our fantastic sponsor for all three leagues, for the league in general, should I say, that of Design Manchester's producer of vinyl graphics, laser engraved mugs, printed clothing, and much more, including SimPlay Motorsport merchandise. Head over to Design Manchester on Facebook for more in that one. And Mike does a terrific job. You're wanting a few bits for when you go to IMSA at VIR, aren't you? You're wanting a t-shirt and a flag and some bits, aren't you?
Yeah, gotta do my plug just without the admin role. But I'm looking at this Stapley and Gerbino fight. Looks like no Deucen's a lap down, but Gerbino's right on the back of Stapley as Bettison and Johnson are going to pit. Broom is also in the pits, and who is that? Hunt is also in.
Yep, so a few drivers into the pits for their first stops, half an hour in, and that would indicate that they're splitting their strategy up half an hour to half an hour, and just with 30-minute stints throughout this race.
Yeah, we saw a couple of strategies work out like that in Pro at Bathurst, but it seems that running as long as you possibly can, like what Stardog did, could pay off maybe a little bit more. Because again, we saw Stardog didn't pit to almost the last 3 minutes to finish his second pit stop.
Didn't we? We thought he'd forgotten. Track temperature 41 degrees. And this is on board with Gabino, but yeah, like I say, Deuce just in.
Stardog has quite heavy damage on the front of his car.
Where is Stardog on P5? He's got coats all over the back of him. Oh, yes, he does. And he's very wide. That's struggling to turn through Stavolo there. And Coates has just breezed on by. And that is the Lamborghini of Bardi, who's trying to unlap himself from Stardog. Yeah, that could be bearing in mind, this is the longest pit lane on the calendar, with it being the endurance pit lane, and that could be a really long stop for Keenan Stardog there. That could really hurt his progression. Gabino having a look at Stapley once again then. Not able to get past. That puts Coates up into P5 now overall for the bronze, and second in the bronze category. So it just cuts the gap of points between himself and Al Capara, just down to 1 car between them.
Yeah, again, if Al Capara picks up damage or something, Coates will be knocking on that door. It only seems that they have Rouge and Radion between them, but 2 very, very good races so far.
A lot of drivers into the pit lane. I'm noticing the 63 of Privet also has some damage on the front of his car. He was just yellow flag. It's not massive. Also might look like there's a bit on the rear. Yes, there is. So it's not massive, but he will be feeling the effects. That Al Capara has dropped to 1.6 behind Wolski. So he's lost out a massive amount of time. No real fights to talk about now. If we look, though, at who's the lead pit runner, Hunt is technically the guy who's leading in terms of pit stops, with 1 of his 2 stops done and is 16th place. And with the fact of Cabino, Sanchez, Kruppeljan, Craig and Stardog in for a lengthy stop, you'd imagine, he could possibly get out ahead of all of these and be almost running in that top 10 by the time the cars around in pit.
Yeah, and it looks like Wolski has closed in just a little bit to Richie. They had a 4 going on 5-second gap, and it looks like, yeah, Wolski has brought it down to a 3.6 second gap, and it seems like Al Capara is just dropping off the back now at a 1.8 second gap.
Interesting then for the BMW to now be starting to put the pressure, or looking like he's about to try and put pressure on Mirko Ritchie. Cherry Moore's now back up to 6th, yet to pit though, and Brian Craig's just coming out the pits. Where is Hunt? Hunt is going to be behind Brian Craig still, but he's going to be up to speed quicker than Brian Craig. There's Brian Craig just exiting the pit lane now, and here comes Hunt, who Brian Craig is just going to be standing or looking like he's going backwards as Hunt just flies past him at top speed. So Hunt, still your net pit leader in this race at the moment. Gluhack has managed to get up the hill as well. Johnson not yet. So Gabino should come out ahead of Michael Johnson in this one. Stardog, though, has finished his stop and I believe is on the move. The question going to be for Keenan Stardog, did he repair that damage? Let's take a look. Yes, he has. So he has repaired the damage. Stardog gets back on his way, and that is Sam Greaves, who has overtaken Keenan Stardog. I believe he was already ahead of him, wasn't he, before the pit stops? It was them 2 was fighting each other, and so that battle can resume. But Sam Greaves moves up another place.
Yeah, and Hunt right now P10, and the first one to have done at least 1 pit stop. All the people in front of him, again, have yet to serve 1 of them. And Wolski, again, closed in another 4/10 to Richie. So maybe this is 2 bad laps for Richie, or his tires are slowly beginning to fall off. And Wolski, who's been kind of right at that 4-second gap, has just, again, maybe been saving his tires and slowly reeling Richie in.
And apologies, I said that Hunt there had just repassed Stardog after the pit stops. That was Hunt actually Greaves putting a lap on Stardog. So, yeah, looks like that Greaves is doing quite well at this moment in time. Peckman trying to close down on Privet. That gap is separated by just a handful of tenths in this one at the moment. That's the closest fight we've got on circuit here, Privet and Peckman. Obviously, Peckman, your defending bronze champion, moved up into that silver class last season after a great bronze victory. Your bronze running order so far: Al Capara from Coates from Malarex, but obviously them 3 still to pit, as Privet a little slow on the apex of no-name, and Peckman just right around the outside. And I don't know who he was getting the blue flag from there, but it looks like Privet's let them all go, and he's actually just let Simcoe pass him as well. It was Stapley giving the blue flag, and I don't know if Privet was trying to get out of Stapley's way, but he's also now just lost out to Peckman and Simcoe as a result of that as well.
Yeah, but I feel like
Oh, Wolski and
Oh,
Alcapara into the pit lane.
All right. Yeah, sorry, I had a bit of a brain lag, but I feel like Privet's run pretty well, so maybe he could catch back up to Simcoe, only separated by 8/10.
Here we go, Bettison trying to get onto the back of Sanchez once again here. This is the closest fight on track at the moment. And it's all just quieting down a little bit now, Beef, since the pit stops have started to happen.
Yeah, Duffin still has 2 stops left to do, as well as the top 9.
Coach as well into the pits. Bettison has just gone past Sanchez on the Camel Straights. That Lexus doing its job. As Johnson now gaining on the back of Stardog here. So this will be an interesting fight to keep our eyes on, as well as can Hunt get ahead of Stapley, Coates? Can he be closer to Alcapara and Wolski with that undercut? He pitted about 7 minutes ago. And yeah.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. Still another 53 minutes left. Malarix runs wide into the Lake Home chicane with his teammate just behind him, so I wouldn't be surprised if they pit together and kind of work with each other. Maybe try the horse and carriage strategy to get a little bit closer to the cars that they were battling before their stops.
I think Wolski's pulled a bigger gap over Alcapara here, by the way. Just seeing them two come out the pit lane, and Wolski is miles up the road from Alcapara. A lot more than the 1.7 it was before they came into the pits. Hunt's coming through on Coates and Stapley, so Hunt gets another 2 places, putting Hunt up into 8th place at the minute with Rob Smith, Cherrymore, Malarex, Greaves and Richie still to pit, although Richie is now in. So now's the time for Wolski to try and really have a strong outlap here. Look how he put 5 seconds on Alcapara. So Alcapara, change of tyres maybe for Alcapara there.
That's exactly what I was thinking, because unless he had a bad stop by slightly being off in his box, there's going to be no other way that he could have lost 4 or 5 seconds to Wolski.
Johnson's just got up the inside of Starlog on the entry into the El Rouge section of the circuit. Does the Ford Mustang have the legs over the Lexus? I'm going to suggest that maybe not. But Johnson now running up in P15 over that Akeen and Stardog. They're only 3 seconds behind that of Stapley. No, they jumped Stapley as well in the pit. So Johnson, yeah, 3 seconds off the back of Kruppeljan now. So going rather well. Right, Mirko Ritchie in the pit. Sam Grieve still going. Malarex and Cherry Moore still going. Rob Smith nowhere near yet. And Wolski's just coming towards Blanchimont now. It was about 3.4, wasn't it, before Wolski pitted the gap between the leaders. So we'll see what Wolski's been able to do at the moment.
Yeah, we're going to see if Ritchie takes tires on this stop. Again, if I had to assume Wolski did not take tires. But, yeah, I wish I had my stopwatch open so time Ritchie's stop and maybe have a better estimate of what he's doing. But he just drops off the jacks now and he's heading towards the exit.
Neil Broom's had a second disconnection. I think he's calling that one a night, which is a shame for Neil Broom in this race. I know he's looking to try and score some good points. So Ritchie out the pits. Where is he? Can we see his car? He's just coming up the top of Radion out the pit line now. Where is then that of Wolski? Not yet in the background. There he is. There's Mirko Ritchie just further forward on your screen. And the problem for Ritchie is, so I'd assume these two haven't taken tyres based on the fact Alcapara is 5 seconds behind Wolski and based off the fact that Wolski only gained a second over Mirko Ritchie. And that second could have just been the difference in a little bit of fuel here or there.
Yeah, so maybe Ritchie's planning to go 1 or 2 laps longer than Wolski. But again, Wolski went ahead and did the undercut, so he will be pitting at least a lap earlier than Ritchie.
Right, any battles happening out there on the circuit? Keenan Stardog sticking to the back of Johnson, just can't get any closer. Stanek gaining on Chris Privet for 26th and 27th. Simcoe trying to stick with the back of Peckman. Not the night for Andrew Taylor. He had a good race at Valencia. Down in 23rd here at Spa. Stardog still trying to stick with Johnson, who's 3.9 off the back of Kruppeljan. But keep your eyes on that lead gap. It was 2.4 seconds at the Lacombe chicane. What is it now down to through the second sector? It's down to, or is it up to something? It's down to 2.3. I was looking at the wrong people on the timing tower. It's down to 2.3, so another 10th has been taken out as Greaves, Malarex and Cherry Moore have all carried on their way. What about Rob Smith? Doosan as well, still got 2 stops to make. Andrew Taylor's gaining on him, so that should be pretty easy for Andrew Taylor and maybe a couple of others to gain a place or two there. But yeah, Rob Smith as well carries on his way. So the different strategies here, once again, are playing out a little bit more.
Yeah, again, it's interesting to see the fuel loads. I don't have that open right now, so I wouldn't be able to see their strategies. But again, Rob Smith just kind of doing his thing. Maybe he might be able to jump a couple of cars, but on ACC, it definitely seems like the undercut is just a little stronger when you're in traffic than doing the overcut.
Well, this is Gluhack we're currently watching on the back of Brian Craig for P9 and 10. They're well clear of Coates. And actually for Coates, he's had Brian Craig and Gluhack jump him in the pit lane. And that's put 3 cars now between himself and Al Capara. Not just the one as what it was earlier on in the race. So Brian Craig and Gluhack here having a good second stint at the moment. Johnson's got Stardog right behind him. Into the pits comes Sam Greaves now from the lead of this race. And that puts Johnson and Stardog back onto the lead lap. Good evening to Kieran Argent. Looks like the dominance of SimPlay Racing Stable is over. Well, where have you been? Because you're technically part of the same stable. And Steve's also not here tonight. But yeah, it does look pretty much over for this season. Where have you been, Kieran Argent? Bar on your jollies. If anybody would have had a few spins tonight, it would have been Kieran Argent, I reckon, around here. Come on, you've got to back me up with that beef.
Well, there might be a special event for Argent on iRacing coming, 2027, 2028. Really depends.
Yes, the Argent 360. That's Daytona. Sam Greaves into the pits then. Malarex should take the lead of this race. I believe he's coming through turn 1 now, as here goes Gluhack up the inside at Pooh, and Gluhack through on Brian Craig. So job done for Gluhack. Nice easy move. Wolski's lost a bit of time to Mirko Ricci here, but Mirko Ricci gaining on the back of Rob Smith. Now if Rob Smith doesn't pit here, Mirko's going to have to fight to get past Rob Smith, because this is for position. Rob's gone very, very deep at the start of the chicane, and Rob Smith indeed is going to pit.
Into the wall.
Oh, he's gone into the wall. What a shame for Rob Smith there. Also noting, Al Capara has gained 2 seconds over Wolski here.
Yeah, that just more or less checks my box that Al Capara did take tires.
Yep.
Now I'm interested to see if he will take tires on the second stop.
Yes, that could be an interesting one to keep our eyes on, as to whether or not he will. Good shout, that, yeah. Will he just try and risk it? Because he pitted just under the hour, didn't he? So will Al Capara look to possibly... I mean, we're only assuming, but, the time difference of... Because let's not forget, it's not the 25 seconds mandatory fixed time here. So it may not have been tyres. It may have just been fuel. Because if Wolski only put... Yeah, actually, now I think about it, it may not have been tyres,
Yeah, again, could have just been being slightly off in the box. But he's been putting in some very, very solid laps recently. And I wouldn't be surprised if he were to get back on the back of Wolski and they resume their battle.
The gap's down to 2.7 between the pair of them. Cherry Moore and Malarex, Vanguard Race Team 1-2 at the moment. Al Capara has taken 2 seconds, says Matt. Right, we're halfway through the race. ACR in the chat, let's go Al Capara. Let's go Hulk on us in the chat as well. So when will the Vanguard Race Team decide to pit? for the Ford Mustang of Cherry Moore and the BMW M4 of Malarex. Well, Malarex is in now. Cherry Moore going that little bit longer in this race. Rob Smith still in the pits for his first of 2 stops. Down the order as well, we got battle between Sanchez and Bardi here. This is for 18th and 19th place. We've also got a fight. We did have a fight. Andrew Taylor is around at the final chicane, and Simcoe's gone through. Peckman has sat and waited for Andrew Taylor. So did Peckman hit Andrew Taylor there?
Again, I'm going to go ahead and check the replay on that.
Well then, that is an interesting one. Peckman was sat in the middle of the road at the final chicane as well, so definitely at some point has let Andrew Taylor through because of some contact or another. Brian Craig now defending from Coates, and Brian Craig's lost 7 seconds to Gluak over the last 2 or 3 laps, so Brian Craig really on the back foot here. Here comes Coates looking up the inside into the bush stop chicane, gets alongside just about. Craig leaves just enough room. Coates to the outside of the second pot. Good move from Coates, that is. And through he goes. And again, puts another silver car behind him that closes the gap between him and Al Capara in this race at the moment.
So just checking the replay, it looked like Taylor had just had a little wiggle going into the final corner, and as Peckman was able to keep it a little more stable, he just ended up tapping the rear of Taylor around.
Doosan into the pits as well. Now Doosan's already got a qualifying ban, so he's got to be careful as to not pick up another one. But we're watching Bardi versus Sanchez at the moment. Peckman's on the back of Stanek now for position as well. In fact, no, is that Chris Privet? It is. It's Privet on the back of Stanek. So Peckman's got through. Privet going to try and make a move on Stanek here at Stavelo. Can't do it. Gabino on the back of Kruppeljan. Brian Craig's on the back of Coates as well. El Capara is down to 2.1 to Wolski. Wolski was over 3 seconds against Mirko Ricci. And here comes Gabino looking up the inside of Kruppeljan in towards the hairpin. And through goes Gabino. Lovely move. Puts him in the top 10. And Rob Smith has come back into the pits, I do believe. So he's trying to get 2 stops out the way straight away.
Yeah, again, interesting call. We'll be interested to see if he does take tires on this. I don't know how good the Nissan is on tires. So, again, it'll be interesting to see where he comes out and if he takes tires for these last 40 minutes.
It will indeed. Cherry Moore into the pits for his first of 2 pit stops here. Al Capara has got the gap down to 1.8 to Wolski. So he's flying at the moment. Kruppeljan sticking with Gabino. Malarex has got Stardog just ahead of him by a couple of tenths. So this could be crucial for Malarex. Stapley's got Sanchez and Bardi on the back of him. Peckman now on the back of Andrew Taylor. And this will be the 3rd time because Peckman lost it up Eau Rouge and Taylor had nowhere to go. And then Taylor had a wiggle and Peckman spins him around. And now it's round 3 between the pair of them here.
Yeah, I guess let's just see what happens. Can Peckman actually get around clean?
Well, we'll find out in a few moments' time what he can do. But, you know, so far for Andrew Taylor, it's not been the night he'd have wanted at all. Peckman really putting the pressure on the rear of him here in this race. Further forward though, Al Capara 1.5 as Peckman looks to the outside of the first part of Piff Path. Can't get the move done there. So we'll have another look. 1.5 between Al Capara and Wolski. Wolski only 3.4 off the back of Mirko Ricci. But you do feel like that 3.4 seconds is a huge one at the moment.
Yeah, Wolski did bring it down. It was at 4.2 a little bit before the pit stops. But Ricci has a few lap cars just ahead of him. Maybe a second or so ahead of him. So we'll see how
Peckman through.
they...
Sorry, Wellington. Peckman through. Good move up the inside at Blanchimont. They both had a little wiggle, though, on the exit, but both point in the right direction. Peckman gets through on Andrew Taylor, so job done.
Yeah, again, Richie not far behind from this battle. I could just see him kind of in the background. So it'll be interesting to see if the traffic kind of plays with him, or are they going to hinder him and bring Wolski back into this fight.
Kruppeljan there was having a look on the back of Gabino. Michael Harris is with them as well. So Michael Harris might fancy a move or two over Kruppeljan here. As I believe
You sure it's Michael Harris?
Michael Johnson, sorry. Harris is tomorrow night. Done it again. Yeah, this could be an interesting little three-way fight between the Lamborghini, the Ferrari and the Lexus. In what will be, I'm sure, an outstanding night of racing action here. Through Blanchimont they go. Gabino holds a nice line through there. Harris gets an almighty, Johnson gets an almighty run though. To the outside goes Johnson on Kruppeljan. If he's got it bang on, he could have the inside line for the second part of the chicane, but Gabino was very slow after going deep. That's just held Johnson a little bit, and Kruppeljan's got ahead of Gabino here. So Johnson nearly got Kruppeljan, but it turns out Kruppeljan hangs on and makes the place over Gabino. And now Gabino has to do it all over again.
Yeah, it was kind of weird how slow Gabino was out of that corner. Maybe he had a little bit of wiggle, maybe held the brakes for just a bit too long, but it looks like Johnson is lining up for one of his dive bombs as he cuts the top of a Rouge. I don't know if that was maybe dirty air or just a bad line through there, but Johnson to the inside as they head to the Lake Home chicane, and looks like Johnson's just about gotten that move done. Gabino tries to fight around the outside, and Johnson is through and now has his eyes on Kruppeljan.
Nice little move that from Michael Johnson there. Oh, Gabino nearly in the back of him. Runs wide on exit. Stardog and Malarex behind, having a little fight as well. And Andrew Taylor has lost out 1.4 seconds to Peckman in this race. Simcoe is in for his final stop. Stapley and Smith have done their pit stops in this race. They are going to the end, and everybody has done their first mandatory stop in this race. But yeah, Johnson now will be looking to get after Kruppeljan and get back into that top 10 for sure.
Yeah, and I will say Stardog isn't far out. He's in 12th place, has Malarex right behind him. So again, if they could work together, they could maybe find themselves just on the back of Gabino, Johnson, and Kruppeljan.
Yeah, they could indeed. Let's see what they can do. Alcapara 1.4 off the back of Wolski. DC Wolski and Alcapara going up for Eau Rouge and Radion. And what has been a really entertaining start to this race. Harris is the slower of the mics in the Lexus, says Paul Williams in the chat. It's been a really entertaining start to the race. Since the pit stops, though, it has just died down a bit.
Yeah, just a few little battles here and there, and then some pit lane battles of who's going to jump who. But otherwise, it's been very, very cool, calm, and collected.
We're watching Stardog trying to fend off that of Malarex, but Johnson at the moment is really trying to put the pressure back onto Kruppeljan. And Alcapara, Wolski's gained on Richie a little bit more again, and Alcapara is 1.3 behind. Bettison in for his final stop of the race. So I think we're in that 5-minute window now of drivers are going to be making their pit stops, and this could all come back together in that last half an hour.
Yeah, I just saw or was on board with the Nissan of Rob Smith, and he jumped Simcoe, Privet. Yeah, Simcoe and Privet in the pit lane, so maybe this could really, I guess, open the doors for Smith, and he's got quite a gap to Stapley. But again, maybe pitting just a little bit early and for the undercut could pay off. And again, we know how good the undercut is here on ACC.
Once again, are we going to be telling the tale of Wolski being the bridesmaid and not yet the bride in SimPlay Motorsport? At the moment, Matt Wright saying that I feel like Alcapara has the best chance of putting Richie under pressure. I feel like Wolski was gaining on him at the end of the first stint. Seems to be gaining on him now towards the back end of their second stint as well.
Yeah, maybe Wolski just has a little bit of end of stint pace, just a little bit more than Richie. And Alcapara isn't only 1.8 out from Wolski, so maybe he's just laying back and seeing what happens, probably working on his pit menu for the last pit stop.
Yeah.
So could we maybe see a three-way fight between them? While maybe a little bit of a stretch, I'm gonna say that it'll be really, really close. But again, there's a stretch that I actually see if they're gonna go 3 wide or something heading down to towards Lickholm.
The track temp's actually come down a degree here, so that'll just help the drivers with their tyres just a little bit with the track temperature coming down, so just falling a little bit. Matt Wright saying if I was him, I would get onto the back of Wolski and then pit to try the undercut, is what Matt Wright is saying.
I mean, yeah, that probably could work, but again, Alcapara is a bronze driver. Maybe just for this week, I don't know. We'll see what Righty thinks, but I think he has at least the bronze win in the bag. So I wouldn't try any desperado moves, and I would just try and bring the win home.
Yeah, and that's all he's got to do, isn't it? He's just try and bring the win home. Johnson looks up the inside and towards that of Lecombe and gets the move done over Kruppeljansen. Johnson moves up into P9 now. Lovely little move that from Johnson. Stardog gaining onto the rear of Gabino here. So Gabino will look to try and fend off Stardog, with Malarex gaining on the pair of them as well. Alcapara, though, 1.7 off the back of Wolski, with Wolski a further 3 seconds off the back of Mirko Ricci. We've had some drivers in for their second round of pit stops. Stapley leads the way in that. He's on the back of Stanek here, looking to make a move on the Aston Martin that hasn't yet done it or served its second pit stop. And Stapley now is just trying everything he can to get ahead of the Aston Martin.
Yeah, if Stanek really shouldn't fight this too much. He still has one more pit stop. Stapley's already done with his stops. So, again, it'll be interesting to see just how much of a grudge Stanek will put up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, it's going to be an interesting one to see what will happen from them. As Matt Wright says, don't forget I won at this track. I know my stuff. I won't let you forget it. It'll never happen again. You're right about that one.
Unless he takes out the sandbags.
Yeah, exactly. Hunting to the pits for his final stop of this race. Sam Greaves, P4 at the moment from Alcapara, who's actually lost time to Wolski. Wolski's gained almost a second over Mirko Ricci here on this lap alone at the moment. So has Mirko made a mistake? Car looks fine, but Wolski's gained nearly a second here.
Yeah, maybe Richie's tires are towards the end of their life, and he's just trying to at least bring the car home safely. And maybe Wolski, again, since he was laying back now right on the back of Richie, maybe he was saving his tires for like a second to last stint push. And maybe on his last stop he might take tires again, so he could get closer to Richie and maybe take that overall race win.
Not sure what's happened to Stardog, but he's dropped behind Malarex now. Then Gabino in, Sanchez in, and Petrovic in also for their mandatory final stops. But you know, Wolski's gone and lost another 0.6 of a second in this race at the moment. So again, he's just dropped off the back a little bit more here as Wolski.
Yeah, again, he's been running pretty consistently, and just maybe he has one good lap and Richie has one bad lap, and that's why we're seeing them super, super close. Or, again, maybe Wolski has a little bit more life in his tires.
Maybe he does. Well, 2.9 the gap. Alcapara in. So undercut time for Alcapara. Will this be a tyre change as well with 29 minutes left on the clock? This could be absolutely huge for him in this race. 40 degrees track temp. I'd imagine you've got to take tyres. They're going to be absolutely screaming at you, especially around here at Spa.
Yeah, it also depends on what type of, or what set of brake ducts the drivers are on. If you're on a 2, maybe that might just be an oven for the tires every time you get onto the brakes. But I think most drivers would realize that they maybe need to be on ducts 3 and maybe ducts 4, depending on the type of brake bias you're running.
Yeah. Yeah. Completely understand. Yeah, I'm with you there, buddy. Right, where are we? No real fights happening on circuit. Peckman's down to last place. He's done his second stop. Stanek and Taylor in for their final stops of the race as well. As is Brian Craig and Gluhak and Alcapara still in. Where's Mirko Ricci? Just coming towards out the exit of Pouon now. So Mirko Ricci just coming through to try and pull us far ahead of Alcapara as possible. Long stop this one for Alcapara though. This one may suggest that he's taking tyres in this one.
Yeah, maybe this could be the key to unlocking that three-way fight that I was mentioning between Alcapara, Wolski, and Ritchie.
Well, let's see what happens in this one at the moment. As we've got, what, 28 minutes left in this race. We'll see what's going to happen as it will all tie together towards the end of this race. Mirko Ricci, your race leader from Wolski, from Sam Greaves. At the moment, Alcapara has just exited the pit lane in this race. Where is Cherry Moore? Cherry Moore got ahead of Alcapara. So Alcapara's got to pass Cherry Moore when either catches him or he pits. Hunt is coming down the start line now. I believe that's Gluhak. Where is Gluhak? Not yet off the limiter. So Hunt gets ahead of Gluhak here, and Hunt moves back up into 11th place at the moment overall. Wolski into the pits.
Yeah, so it seems like Wolski has responded to Alcapara. Now I'm interested to see if Ritchie's going to respond to both of them by pitting at the end of this lap, or if he's going to stay out 1, maybe 2 more laps. And will he take tires? Because if he were to take tires, he'd have the freshest out of Wolski and Alcapara, and maybe just a little bit more bite heading towards the end of this race. Johnson's just now in as well. Whereas Ritchie heading into Pouon. Greaves heading into No Name. So yeah, this will be close to see just how much time Alcapara could close in. Maybe on those fresh tires, maybe not. He could have, again, maybe missed his pit stop. Or, again, with those new tires. Runs a little wide on the exit of the last corner. Wolski, I think, took tires. He's just now off the limiter and heading up the hill. Let's see who that is ahead. No real changes. Again, Johnson still crawling his way down the pit lane. Where's Cherry Moore down the Kemmel straight? So, looking like the top 8 are the last ones to pit. Ritchie doesn't respond yet, going, again, maybe 1 or 2 laps longer. Let's see if Greaves comes in. No. And quite a big gap between the bronze drivers of Cote, Kruppeljan, and Malerex. Johnson's stop is complete as he heads towards the exit. So just the top 7 seems. Duffin still hasn't done his second stop, so it'll be interesting to see when he does that and just how long he's gonna run it. But he can only lose positions once he pits. I don't think he'll gain any once he comes out. See, Kruppeljan and Cherry Moore both in for their final stops. I wonder if either of them are going to take tires, because track currently at 40 degrees Celsius, so tires should be melted at about now if they haven't yet taken any. Richie just now coming into the bus stop chicane, stays out yet again.
Sorry, Beef, did I miss much there? I just had to go and splash my face with water. It is way too warm in this studio.
Nothing really, just the final pit stops.
Yeah, noting Al Capora is now 6 seconds behind Wolski. Interesting.
Yeah, I think this time he took tires. I think the first time he maybe just lost some time being slightly out of his box. Excuse me, just slightly out of his box.
Well,
let's see if he could close that gap if he did indeed take tires.
Yeah, let's see what he can do in the final 22 minutes of this race. Richie, Greaves, Coates, Malarex, Stardog still to pit in this race, as is Duffin for his final stop as well. There's Andrew Taylor, dropped down to 26th. Oh, not the race for Andrew Taylor tonight, is it? He'll be kicking himself with that one. Not really any close battles on the circuit at the moment, though. I think it's going to be whether or not Al Capara can catch Wolski, and what Wolski can do when Richie does decide to come into the pits. Remember, Richie's tyres would have done 1 hour and 10 minutes at this moment in time. So, yeah, going to be interesting one to see.
Yeah, he stood out an extra, I think this is his 3rd extra lap since Wolski pitted. So, again, he hasn't responded to them, and I don't think we're going to find out just how close they all are, again, until Richie pits. But he's got an 18.8 second gap to Greaves, so no threat behind. And just Greaves, Coates, Malarex, and Stardog to do their final stops, and I think Duffin as well, yes.
We've got a little fight developing here. Stapley, Kruppeljan and Bettison all going at it at the moment down in the Piff-Paff section of the circuit. And yeah, this is going to be an interesting part of the race at the moment to see what's going to happen. As Ford in the chat, I heard Wellington has some good pit strategies. Too soon. Ho 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 ho.
See, I helped Ramsey win a championship and double trouble with my pit strategy, so don't down me, 40.
Who?
John Ford. That's his nickname.
Who won a championship?
Oh, sorry, Ramsey, i.e. Gordon.
Yes, there we go. Sam Greaves into the pits then as this fight continues on then. These will take the lead lap. It's been an interesting race, hasn't it, tonight, Wellington? If you had to pick a driver of the day from each category, who would it be?
I would say... from bronze, maybe Mallorex. He run very, very strong all day. Hasn't gotten caught up in a lot of issues. Just again, 90 minutes of nothing but cool, calm, and collected.
Oh, sorry, Wellington. Here we go. Up El Rouge through Radion. Corpuljan not got the run he needed through El Rouge at all. And Bettison going to go right around the outside of him. Makes a great move. And Magic to the inside to have a look at Stapley. Indeed he does. What a move from Richard Bettison. A 2-for-1. Little wiggle through Lecombe. That forced Stapley onto the brakes. But he chopped the nose off of Krupeljan and was so confident of going right up the inside of Stapley's Bentley that he did just that.
Krupeljan just hits the back of Stapley.
He does indeed. Under braking, he's slow to allow Stapley to get back going. Where is Cherry Moore in this? Way behind at the moment. Oh, in fact, no, he's not actually. He's not too far behind. But what a move, Richard Bettison.
Yeah, and again, the Lexus doesn't have a restrictor. I know that LFM for the past 3 seasons have been trying to find a restrictor for the Lexus here at Spa, and I think Paul Ricard as well. So maybe in season 12 we could see with a restrictor, just like the Ford Mustang. But still, that was a really, really good move.
Well, what an absolutely fantastic move that was. Unbelievable from Richard Bettison there. You were saying about we can't wait to see Michael Johnson do some send-it manoeuvres like we've come to know over the years. Well, Richard Bettison's got one even better. The 56 has a yellow flag, and that is Simcoe, who is coming through the hairpin now. Brian Craig coming under pressure from Gluhack here for 9th and 10th.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think Gluhack just got a better run out of La Sauce, so it'll be interesting to see just how good Gluhack can make Eau Rouge and Radion. Cuts a little bit of the top. I think he may have gotten either a warning or a no time gained, but it definitely looked like he cut on the back of Craig now. Goes to the inside. Who's going to be later on the brakes? Gluhack, half a car in front, now a full car in front, the first corner of the Lecombe chicane.
Good move there. Stapley still got Krupeljan behind him further down the order. No other battles at the moment. I'm just questioning now, by the way, has Mirko pulled the wrong strategy here?
I mean, he's got
well, I'm going to message you his fuel, because I don't want to give any strategy away on stream.
Okay.
That's what he's got left at the end of the last lap. Right? That is a lot of fuel still in the tank with what's left to go. He hasn't yet changed tyres. Track temperature still 40 degrees as Krupeljan's going to look up the inside of Stapley into the hairpin, holding it tight. Bentley manages to come out on top in this one. That's a lot of fuel there, Beef, for a guy who's not changed his tyres. Now, if Wolski and Alcapara have, because Alcapara's got the gap down to 3.5 to Wolski, they could be right on him after his last pit stop.
I mean, Rich could also just throw in 1 liter of fuel and go. I don't, because there isn't a 25-second pit stop.
Think of the length of this pit lane. That's what I mean. If Wolski and Alcapara took tyres, think of the length of this pit lane. They're going to be gaining on him like mad. In fact, I'll tell you the length of the pit lane just for a drive-through penalty. Where's Mike? He's there. Pinned messages. A drive-through penalty at Spa would cost you 57 seconds. For 1 litre of fuel, it will cost you 65 seconds. To swap tyres, it will cost you 92. So 57 seconds, and if you kind of roughly work out what the gap is between Richie to Wolski at the moment, so Wolski's got 8.1 to Sam, Sam's got 6.519 to Stardog, Stardog's 1.385 to Malarex, Malarex is 19.350 to Coates. That's already 35 seconds, so Richie needs roughly 22 more seconds over Coates, which I don't know if he's got or not at the moment. If he's got, where is Richie? There's Richie through the hairpin. And Coates, he's got a sector over Coates. Maybe he has got enough in the tank here. But if Wolski starts chipping away at that gap even more, even Alcapara, you know, Richie, where's Richie? He's coming up to a bit of traffic. Number 3, Brian Craig, he's off at Le Comte. And he's got damage to the front. So Brian Craig may lose his top 10. In fact, he has lost his top 10. Johnson's gone through and now Bedson's gaining on the back. As here comes Krupeljan once again. Up the inside at Le Comte. The outside for the next part. It will be on the inside for the right-hander at the end. And Krupeljan moves through. Cherry Moore now on the back of Royden Stapley here. But do you see what I mean, though, Wellington? If Wolski and Alcapara just gain that little bit more time over Richie while he's going so long at the moment, he could be in a bit of bother here.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like we saw Stardog do the exact same thing at Bathurst. He just kept going and going, and we were kind of stressing for him.
I think the difference is Bathurst was, one, a lot cooler, and 2, it's Bathurst. You're a bit more tentative up and down the mountain. Do you know what I mean? You might not lose as much time to others up and down that mountain. I think it's all going to depend on what Wolski and Alcapara's times are compared to Mirko Ricci's. Let's just take a look on the timing screen itself. So Mirko Ricci lapping 2:21.3. Last time around, I think Cherry Moore has just been tapped by Bardi, and he's lost out to Bardi as Cherry Moore there. So Cherry Moore down a place. Bardi now on the rear of Royden Stapley now. Wolski 2:20.0, Alcapara 2:20.1. So they're taking 1.1, 1.2 seconds out of Mirko Ricci. The last lap alone, I think it's going to be a lot tighter than what we think here at the end of this race.
Yeah, so maybe the 2 of them did take tires. But again, it'll be interesting to see how Ricci responds. It's been almost 6 laps since Wolski and about 7 laps since Alcapara pitted. So, his strategy a little unorthodox, but maybe for all we know it'll pay out and he'll end up winning this race with like a 10-second gap, similar to what he did at Valencia.
Well, Coates is into the pits. Final 12 minutes of this race. Remember, if you like what you see here, hit that bell to be notified when we are live. We're back live tomorrow. Myself, Tan and Ebone, and potentially a special guest of Gray Langley in the commentary box for the Pro Series at SPA-Francorchamps for the Pro Night. Drive-through penalty, Cherry Moore, 4 track limits. Hit the bell to be notified. Like this, hit the thumbs up button if you like what you see here, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Great dive from that of Bardi. Gets the move done on Stapley, and through he goes. Cherry Moore's got that drive-through to serve. That'll drop him down the order a bit. But yeah, we are 13 subscribers away from the 1,300 mark. So get everybody in who you can as possible and get them to subscribe to this channel. What a 3 weeks already of this season it has been. 72 new subscribers in this 3 weeks. Been a great effort from you all so far. And yeah, let's see where we can go with this. Alcapara, by the way, has had the fastest lap of this race for ages now.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the fastest lap is. Let me go and pull up the lap times.
Hang on a minute. Sam Greaves has jumped Wolski.
Has he? Yes.
Sam Greaves has jumped Wolski.
So maybe Greaves took tires on the first stop and not the second.
Sam Greaves is a net P2 here. Oh my, how it has changed once again then, Wellington.
Yeah, I guess this towards the end of the race, everything's getting a little more spicy. But I'm looking at the lap times. Alcapara put a 2:19.3 as the fastest lap, almost 7/10 quicker than what Wolski has, or Wolski's personal best, which was a 2:20.0. And Alcapara, well, I'm not gonna say how much fuel he did that on, but it is substantially more than what Wolski did it on.
Yeah, indeed. Well, we're into that final 10 minutes now. We've still got Stardog, Malarex, Richie to pit. Does Duffin have to still pit? Yes, he does. Privet has been overtaken by Andrew Taylor for 25th place. So Taylor just trying to claw back some points there. Duffin looks very slow. He's got some more damage on the front as Duffin there. We've got Rob Smith trying to fend off that of Simcoe at the moment. But yes, Sam Greaves. And he's got the jump over Wolski by nearly 5 seconds. Where's Al Capara? He's 3.9 behind, so that may have just pushed Al Capara off of the outright podium here.
Yeah, so maybe a good, well, good might be an understatement. That might have been an exceptional call and a really, really good strategy by Greaves.
Well, where did that come from? Matt Wright's just put Greaves, you sneaky boy. Where did that come from? Greaves was nowhere near Al Capara and Wolski, and he's all of a sudden just popped up P2. Oh, who's that in the wall?
Yeah, he was running.
Oh, that's the 23. That's Mark Tucker in the wall at the top of El Rouge and Radion as Simcoe goes side by side with Rob Smith. Mark Tucker returns to the pit lane. Rob Smith loses out to Simcoe, but they both gain on Mark Tucker. That should allow Peckman and Taylor and Privet and Stanek to maybe get another place as well. Go, Krupeljan, overtake Craig, he says. Is the latest comment in the chat. He's got to gain 3.5 seconds at the moment. And Sam Greaves on the back of Stardog for position. Stardog still has to do his last stop yet.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see when he does it, but maybe he's doing what he did at Bathurst and just running as long as possible. He did have that damage earlier on in the race as Greaves is now on the back of him.
He's side by side with him nearly, coming into Piff Paff. And Greaves just going to patiently wait. Starlock goes a little deep, opens up the inside for Greaves, which will be the outside for the final part of Piff Paff here. And then coming down towards that of Stavolo. Greaves, is he going to think of sending one up the inside? No, backs out of it. Greaves is having... Oh, as Starlock goes deep into the gravel. Thank you, Mama, for the carrot, Sam Greaves says. Drive through, 1 lap remaining for Cherry Moore. Sam Greaves is having an almighty season at the moment.
Yeah. I feel like we say this almost every season. Sam Greaves has 1 or 2 spotlight races, and then things just seem to crumble underneath him. But is he going to be able to keep the foundation underneath him as solid as possible?
Brian Craig must have made a mistake, because that 3.5 seconds he had to Krupeljan. Krupeljan's just passed him down the Camel Straight. So Krupeljan moves into P12 now. And for Brian Craig, damage on the car. He could also lose out to Bardi in this race. And maybe Stapley. As we just look down, Dewson's done his final stop. Tucker into the pits. Greaves jumped Wolski in the last pit stop, says Paul Williams in the chat. Andrew Taylor now up into 23rd. Peckman up into 22nd. They did get ahead of Dewson. Stanek on the back of, or gaining on the back of Dewson now as well. And Stardog into the pit lane. And Al Capara just cannot get close enough to Wolski. Wolski 2.6 now off the back of Sam Greaves. Al Capara just hasn't got the legs in his Mercedes-Benz today to get the job over Sam. If Wolski gets on the back of the Sam, I'm expecting a bit of a dogfight here, because Sam's not going to want to yield that podium or that second place too soon at the moment. And depending on what's happening with Richie out there, you know, they're going to want to also try and not trip up each other as much to try and get onto the back of Richie at the pit stops.
Yeah, I might flash, if I was Wolski, I might flash him, not as a rude flash like, oh, let me buy or whatever, but one of those flashes like, hey, let's work together and see if we could both close into that of Richie and maybe try and get the best position for both of us instead of harming each other by battling and allowing Richie to get away.
Yeah, well, let's see what's going to happen in the closing stages of this race. 2.2 seconds is the gap between Greaves and Wolski at this moment in time. As we enter into the final 6 minutes of racing, I can see that Mirko Richie is down the Kemmel straight and coming through Lecombe now. I'm very surprised he's not pitted yet. Really am surprised. If you ask me, from where he is on the circuit, he might have to pit at the end of this lap. Cherry Moore in for his drive-through.
Yeah, I feel like Richie could also, well, it's going to be close, but maybe go 1 more lap. Again, we saw Stardog pit with about 3 minutes left in Bathurst, but that's a way shorter lap time. You're running like 2-minute 2s and not 2-minute 20s. Yeah. So it'll be very, very close for when Richie pits, as well as Malarex, as he just now comes down the front stretch into La Sauce.
Splash and dash coming from Richie, says Matt. Right, Wolski's within a second now of Sam Greaves. Right then, so Malarex is there. Cherry Moore is, oh look at that, he's only just gone onto the endurance part of the pit lane. So he's a lap down now to Sam Greaves and Wolski. He's now down into 18th place. He could tumble down this order at the moment. Oh, Sam Greaves, a little bit of track limits there coming up through Radion. Body's on the back of Brian Craig. Let's take a look down at that fight at the moment. They've got Duffin just behind them, who is a lap down. Duffin trying to stay out the way. Peckman might he also get Cherry Moore here. Because Peckman, in fact, he has just passed him. I can see the 3-1-1. Wide from Brian Craig, the damage just hurting him. And now Bawdy to the outside of Piff Paff. Through he goes. Brian breaks a little too early and just lets him have that one. Sam Greaves, though, has got Wolski hovering all over the back of him at the moment. Neil Broom, but as I found out, some people don't understand what a flash of the lights are or what you're trying to do. Like I had in qualifying and in the race, both times the driver didn't get the memo. And Wolski now right on the rear of Sam Greaves. This looks to me like Wolski definitely took tyres on his last stop.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Again, it's
Mirko's
when
in.
they pitted, it was about 40 Celsius, so tires must have been absolutely dead by the time they came in for their second stop.
Well, Sam Greaves is going to fight this one. As Mirko Ritchie into the pits, through Piff Paff comes Sam Greaves now. Does Malarex take the lead of this race? He's only just a little further up. In fact, Malarex probably hasn't got time to... Oh, no, he might actually. If he crosses that line with about 2:30 to go, oh, Greaves very wide again there. He's got to be careful with Wolski lurking in the background. Ritchie in, wait for that to go green. I won't imagine it'll be a long stop here for Ritchie. And there'll be one to go after this. The 23 yellow flag on the Camel straight.
Tucker hard into the wall with a lot of damage.
Oh, he's just come out the pits after damage as well. So Tucker will be back into the pits, I imagine, with damage. Malarex in. And Mirko Ritchie has now gone green. He's on his way out the pits. He's off the limiter. Greaves has only just crossed the timing tower. It's not 79 seconds. That will change. Mirko's going to come out into a lot of traffic here at the moment. And Sam Greaves...
Yeah, but...
Sorry, go on.
Still a huge gap to Greaves and Wolski.
Yeah, really is a huge gap to Greaves and Wolski, you're right. But Tucker, by the way, 27th, because I don't imagine with that damage and the 2-minute tow time, he'll be back out on track in this one. Malarex still in the pits. Al Capara has dropped well off the back of these two as well, by the way. Wolski has been on an absolute mission here. And Greaves has probably got 2 laps, this one and one more, to fend off Wolski in this race. Can he do it?
That BMW of Wolski looks really, really good on the brakes. I think Greaves has just a little bit more of the top speed. So it'll be interesting. You have one that's really, really good on these tight technical sections like we're into now, and then absolute rocket ship for a lot of the straight lines.
Stardog went deep and messed up the chicane, and as he turned through the final part, Johnson got the run on him, taps the rear, straightens Stardog up. Johnson lets Stardog back go though, and through goes Stardog once again, back to the Sam Greaves fight.
As you do that, I might keep it on the Johnson Stardog fight.
That's fine. You let me know if anything changes in that one.
Johnson on the inside slightly backs off, but again, that Lexus is an absolute rocket ship. Johnson cuts the top of Radion, but that Lexus has his fishing pole, and he's about to go fishing for a Greasy Bandit's Mustang. And he's through even before they get to the Lake Holm chicane.
So a great move from Michael Johnson puts him up into P number 9 now. He's got 7 seconds to Gluak. That might be the end of that one. Through Blanchimon they go as Mirko Ritchie starts the final lap of the race here at SPA-Francorchamps for the first time this week. It's Pro tomorrow night at Spa. And Sam Greaves has 1 lap to hang on in here over Wolski. He did it on the last lap without Wolski troubling him too much here. Can he do it this final time, though? That's going to be the biggest question.
Yeah, he runs a slightly offline, gets a better exit, it seems, than Wolski. But another 2 minutes, 20 some seconds for Wolski to find a place to pass Greaves.
Well, here comes Greaves. He's just pulled away a little bit from Wolski. That top-end speed of the Mercedes-Benz, just utilising its potential over that of the BMW M4. 0.4 of a second was the gap across the line. It looks a little bit closer, though, now under the braking into the Lecombe chicane. Is that because Sam's just having to take it a bit easier? They've dropped, by the way, Alcapara by 13 seconds over the line. So Alcapara just hasn't been in this one. Hunt, a great start to his season. Been on holiday for 2 weeks. He comes back. He's P5, fourth in silver. So a great result for him in this race. On his first outing in the Mercedes-Benz, let's not forget as well. But Sam Greaves, quarter of the lap done. Half to go.
Yeah, Richie just now coming to Piff Paff. So he, unless he has a severe mistake, he pretty much has this parcel sealed up.
Yeah, the stamp has, the parcel has been signed, sealed, and nearly delivered. Mirko Ricci coming into Stavolo now. As Sam Greaves just going on the defensive and really touring car style, parking it on the apex, waiting to get the car out the corner before applying the power, which just halts Wolski's progression. I think, Wellington, you're going to have to sit and watch this one while we turn to Ricci in a moment to see him cross the line in a great fashion for Mirko Ricci. Back-to-back race wins this will be for him. As he comes towards the chicane, Mirko Ricci, back-to-back race wins, back-to-back pole positions. What a drive from Mirko Ricci. He wins here tonight at SPA-Francorchamps. The battle for second place. Wolski versus Sam Greaves. Sam looking to defend the inside line. Wolski into the back of him. Wolski spins him around on a desperate attempt to get second place at the very end. He sits and waits for Greaves to get going. And Sam Greaves will be second, Wolski third. And Alcapara will take nothing away from this man. Fastest lap overall. He wins in bronze. Fourth place overall here. Hunt, first race of the season, P5. What a job he has done here tonight. Absolutely fantastic. Bonus for Coates as well, by the way. Only one silver driver in between him and Alcapara. So a lovely little battle that. Hunt to the line, P5.
I'm watching this battle between, who is that? Craig, Stapley, Gerbino, Petrovic. I think that they've dropped Petrovic just coming out of no name, but otherwise it's 3 for the picking. Stapley Coates, a little wide.
Sorry, Coates is going to take P6. Malarex and P2 on the podium in bronze. Malarex will come across for P7. Third on the podium before Gluhak, P8 in the silver category. Carry on, sorry.
Petrovic now back up to the battle. This is, let's see, 17th through 14th, or 14th through 17th. But they are, you could just about wrap them up in a blanket, all running the exact same lines out of some corners. But it'll be interesting to see if Gerbino maybe throws a last-ditch dive bomb onto Craig. If he doesn't, again, I wouldn't be surprised. Just try and get the car to the end. Stapley might try around the outside. Very, very good on the brakes. He might have Gerbino here. No, he hops the curb, hits Petrovic. But a solid 14th for Stapley.
Yeah, solid 14th for Stapley. I'm going to try and get these results typed up quickly and give you the tables in just a few moments' time. But, well, Wellington, give us your 2 driver of the days and give us your final thoughts on that race.
Yeah, the race really dulled down, I would say, after the first pit stop. I would say my silver driver of the day would be Greaves. He kind of, well, he literally came out of nowhere. And then I would say for bronze, it would be Coates. He looked extremely solid the entire day. Had a couple of battles with some other people, but again, I said that if he could get winded up just a little bit earlier, he might be in contention for a really, really good result, and he did that today.
Final thoughts on Spa as well. It's been an absolutely fantastic race here at Spa. Final thoughts on that one?
Yeah, really, really good race again. Got quite dull once all the drivers kind of found their pace and were just doing their laps.
Yes, indeed it did. I'm just trying to input the race results here. Duffin in his change of car 25th. No Atherton. Stanek was 26th in that race. Hughes, obviously, the retirement from the race as well. Right, we'll head over back to the live screen in just a moment. Have we got drivers in for an interview so far, Wellington?
Yes, we have Greaves and Wolski in.
Greaves and Wolski. Right, we will start then with the P3 man, Wolski, in just a couple of moments' time. The tables are all done and are all up to date. I will get them set in order while we're chatting away with Wolski in just a few moments' time. If you're wondering what is happening, it's been too hot to wear a t-shirt, so I'm currently putting my t-shirt back on, ready so that you don't see a half-naked man on your TV or mobile devices dripping in. In just a moment, we will speak with the podium finishers in this race, and we can now, as you will see me pop up on the screen, go over and speak to that of your podium finishers. We will first of all chat with that of Wolski. P3, a solid race tonight, but I'm kind of lost for words. A really good race from yourself, really solid. Didn't obviously have the pace of Mirko Ricci, and kind of just cheekily got jumped by Sam in the pits at the end.
Yeah, I actually expected some cars to go for that long strategy, but yeah, I just realized it is just Sam at the end, so I was pushing forward. But Sam is too good defender, so well done, Sam. I couldn't do much there, but we were quite slow at the end.
Did you take tyres in that race?
Yeah, of course I did. I did three equal pit stop stints.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Heck of a race. So good pace from yourself, like you said. You just didn't have that to match that of Richie in this one. What did you think to Al Capara in the bronze category there? He was keeping you honest at the early stages of the race.
Yeah. He was quite fast. I actually managed to overtake him because he did some mistake in Eau Rouge, I think, if I'm correct. And yeah, we had a pretty good fight right there for the most of the race. I would say it was very nice not to be alone for the whole race. It was warm, it was tough, but the pressures were spot on. So I'm happy. Yeah, it could be P2, but Sam was too good at the end. So yeah, only P3 tonight.
Indeed, we head to 90 minutes of Silverstone next week. What's your thoughts on Silverstone?
It will be warm. I expect like today. So it will be very nice. I think I like this track. So.
Well, congratulations.
For a good race.
Well, congratulations on the P3 tonight. Well done. We'll let you go.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll chat over to Sam Greaves now. P2 tonight. Sam, that was a very cheeky under-the-radar strategy.
Yeah, I spoke to Mike Hunt in the quali. We kind of went through the options and decided to split. So Mike went for the same strategy as Wolski, the two sets of tyres, and just split the race into thirds. I thought I'd go for the one set of tyres and the splash and dash. To be honest, I don't think it was the best strategy. What really helped was Wolski and Al Capara going at it for so long on the first stint. Slowed them both down. Neither of them were quick. They let Richie just really get away. I think if they hadn't wasted time going at each other early doors, the strategy wouldn't have worked, and my tyres were dead at the end, Matt. They were absolutely dead. I was really struggling. We lost 8 seconds on the last lap to Alcapara. I know we had a bit of a touch at the end, but you know that is what it is. But it was really good, to be fair. I knew that I had them once they lost that time at the beginning, and then it was just a case of hanging on, really, and that's absolutely what I was doing. I was sliding out of my seat as well. I'm sitting in a puddle here. It's not good fun.
Yeah, you're not the only one, mate. Let me tell you. It was a tricky last couple of laps. We could see that the rate Wolski was catching you before them last couple of laps, where he was within that half a second window. You looked like you was really struggling just to get it out the corner with the traction on them old tyres. Nevertheless, though, you know, solid race, P2. You've had good pace tonight, and come away with another podium.
Yeah, it was a really good race. I didn't make any mistakes tonight, Matt. To be fair, it was like the old me. To be fair, not a lot of pace, but no errors. I didn't lose any time for doing anything wrong. It was interesting at the end. It would have been a little bit easier, but clearly the Greasy Bandits guys decided to use Stardog to try and back me into Wolski at the end, because Stardog was on the same splash and dash that I was in. He could have come in right at the death, and he was really, really slow for 2 laps right in front of me. It was I knew what they were doing. Actually, it ended up quite nice because I stayed in front of Wolski, and Johnson ended up getting Stardog at the end because of the time he lost fighting me, which means we actually gained a couple of extra points against the Bandits, which is good for us. It's good to have Mike Hunt back in the race with me. He's been missing the first 2 rounds, so I think we do better when we're on there together, and we can kind of keep each other pushing forwards and working hard until the end of the race. So yeah, it was good to have the teammate back. Yeah,
great to have your teammate back.
A good strategy for me in the end. It really worked.
Yeah, indeed, and like you say, great to have your teammate back. Who had a great showing. Did Hunt tonight. It was a really good performance from himself. And like I say, good points for the team. 2nd and 5th every day of the week. That's perfect for us. That's really good. Silverstone next week. Obviously, we Spa's now in the bag. We go to a back-to-back 90-minute race now for Silverstone for week 4. What's the thoughts for Silverstone? What can you do around there?
Yeah, I like it, to be fair. It's a good track for me. I don't have Wolski's pace right there, to be fair. He's really quick on that track. I expect that he will be right at the front. I think Richie, you've seen what he's done in the last couple of races. He's just drove away from the front. If he gets a good start and he gets his nose ahead, he's going to be difficult to beat. I think he's going to catch us up pretty quickly in the championship. I think it'll be Wolski, Richie pulling away from everybody else. But I'd like to think that I can push for that 3rd place on a podium next week. That's certainly the aim. And you've seen that from me in the first few races this season. I haven't had any great results, but I haven't had any bad ones either. I'm just kind of gently trying to stay there, not make any mistakes, not lose the car at all, and see if I could just keep the points ticking over.
Well, Sam, congratulations tonight. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, brilliant. Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. Looking forward to watching the stream as ever. And Matt, I've got to say, mate, a half-naked Matt Duffin at the end of the season. We'll get a load more subscribers if we go for that, mate.
You're all right. Somebody in the Discord in the LMU chat last night tried to get 1,000 views for a half-naked me and 2,000 views. I've got to get Mike said I couldn't do it without the SimPlay logo on my chest, so I said I've got to get it tattooed on my chest for 2,000 views. So there we go.
Good luck with that. Yeah. Right, okay, I'm going to ring everyone at work tomorrow and tell them they need to start watching SimPlay. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Sam. Best of luck next week.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
We've got Coates in the chat as well. Coates, P2 in the bronze category tonight. Good result as well. P6 overall, I believe it was, in the end. Just damage limitations over Alcapara. He's just a bit too quick at the moment for you to be able to sort of stick to it and get ahead of.
Isn't he? Yeah, he's a quick lad. He's disappeared off the road, up the road a couple of times over the last couple of weeks. No, I don't see myself really competing with him in terms of sort of pace. I approach my races in a very different way. I work to a lap time. I keep it clean. I keep it tidy. Try and stay out of any trouble, and just run it and to see where I land at the end of a race. I've always been sort of like a nice consistent driver and just keep it facing the right direction. Hey, there's one thing I do want to just bring in after this race. That podium is wholly for my teammate, his wife, and his daughter who left us far too soon. That one's dedicated to you, Rob. He's a top bloke, and it's devastating what happened to that whole family. So that podium is for my mate, and I can't tell you just how delighted I am with it. I had a long break from sim racing, and it's been absolutely superb to come back and race with you lads. It really has. This is the best channel, the best race.
No, I appreciate the kind words there. It's been a pleasure to have you, to be fair. It's great seeing new drivers competing and enjoying that. And great thoughts and sentiment there for Rob Smith and his family. Obviously, everything that's happened over the last few months for them. So, no, great touch for them. Silverstone next week, buddy. What's your thoughts on Silverstone moving forward?
I love the track. Absolutely love it. It's one of my favourite circuits. So, we'll hopefully, fingers crossed, if everything goes well, we'll have another chat next week.
Indeed. Well, congratulations tonight on the P2 in bronze. We'll let you enjoy that, and we'll see you next time.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm going for a well-earned cold shower.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Enjoy that one, buddy.
Thank you.
Your final classifications, but at the end of tonight, bearing in mind these are all provisional results until they get posted on our Instagram, Facebook or Discord server. They are all provisional results due to the stewarding that will or could take place throughout the weekend. I have just added in the drop scores as well that will now show on the tables. So this is your provisional results in silver. Wolski leads the way by 15 points from Sam Greaves. Mirko Ricci's a bit further back. He's 39 points behind Wolski in third. Stardog a little further back off the back of Mirko Ricci. Then it's Popovic, Steve Millington, Michael Johnson, Gluhack, Cummins, Peckman rounding out the top 10. Bettison is 11th from Andrew Taylor. Brian Craig, Cherry Moore, Cabino, Hunt, Sturrock, Flores, Clarbel, Argent, Dronelander, De Block and Waste. And down in the bronze category, it is Al Capara who leads by 30 points from Malarex. Coates down in third place, only 8 points behind Malarex. At the moment, Simcoe is fourth from Stapley, Sanchez, Kruppeljan, Lee, Privet, Petrovic, White, Tucker, Broom, Bardi, Dog, Doosan, Taylor, Stanek, Smith, Atherton and Hughes. In the Teams Championship then, Greasy Bandits Racing have a 99-point lead at the moment over that of BSH Spinners. So they have been caught a little bit due to the drop scores. Hulkanios Motorsport up in third place, 4Q, 20 points behind them. Vanguard Race Team are fifth from Black and Blue Racing. SimPlay Racing down in seventh from Team Merlot. KSR, ACC Maniacs, Team GBR, FRL Racing Team, ACC Venom Racing and Forever Forward Racing at the bottom of the pack. What a night it has been here at Spa. Remember, join us live tomorrow night for the Pro Series out at SPA-Francorchamps, where I'll be back live in the commentary box with Tanner Kneebone for the third week of the season in Pro. But from me and Wellington, it's a very good night. Beef, thanks once again for joining me in the commentary box.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it a hat trick and try and go the entire season.
Indeed, good lad. If you want to catch Beef, he'll be on the circuit tomorrow night. If you want to listen to Beef, if it's not on a podium tomorrow night or on Tuesday next week, he'll be back with me next Wednesday, hopefully. So from me, Beef, aka Wellington, and the rest of the SimPlay Motorsport team, have a great evening. Good night.